Hello and welcome to day 3. We must apologize to all the viewers. Had a bit of a late start due to some technical difficulties, but all is well now. You haven't missed much. Trinidad and Tobago, they resumed the day on 429. So far, they've added 7 runs to their tally. Yannick Carrier is there on 86 of 130 deliveries, and Anderson Phillip, 12 of 27. First over of the day was bowled by Daryl Cyrus. And Tyson is now in action. One more ball to finish this over. So good afternoon to all you viewers and good afternoon to you, Osnet.
Good afternoon to you, Stacey, and good afternoon to all our viewers across the Caribbean, worldwide, wherever you're looking at this broadcast from.
Trinidad and Tobago with a lead of 270 runs. Last delivery left the room, so 2 runs coming from that over. Trinidad and Tobago Red Force 436 for 7.
A tidy start from Tyson. Once again, he has to start fresh. It's a new day, a new dawn, and he'll be hoping that he can make some inroads and add to that tally of 1 for 74 that he currently has.
And you look at that scorecard, 8 bowlers have been employed by Windward Islands. And just to give you a quick recap of yesterday, we had Cephas Cooper bringing up his maiden century. He scored 117. Amir Django, he was dismissed for 84. Jason Mohammed, he went on to score a century as well, dismissed for 103. And mentioned Yannick Carrier, he's still there, hunting up a century himself. But so far, what we've seen from Trinidad and Tobago, most of the batters that have gotten good starts have gone on to produce big runs. I think that man Amir Django might be kicking himself that he didn't join the century party.
Agreed. That's what you want at this level. The top order players taking full advantage of good batting conditions. As you mentioned, a lot of them got starts and mostly carried on to bigger totals. Carrier will be looking to add to that as well. He's on 86. That lead continues to grow. 270 runs. Already a daunting total for the Windward Islands.
Yeah, it's a case now for the Windward Islands to try and pick up these 3 wickets as quickly as possible. You know, Trinidad and Tobago, they've dictated the outcome of this match so far. Proceedings of this match so far. So Windward Islands, they should look to dictate this session. It's a bit short there. Gets on the back foot and plays it for 1.
Just curious to know in terms of the extent to which Carrier's century would have influenced their decision to bat on this morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Something we spoke about yesterday. There's a lot of time in the game. Still two days play really remaining. So it's still a bit of time. They can afford to give him the opportunity to see if he can get to that milestone.
Yeah, there's that. They look for a single, but he's been sent back by Anderson Phillip. Yeah, there's that. And also, we mentioned the time that they have in this game. Trinidad and Tobago Red Force, they'll be looking to bat once in this outcome, in this match. They don't want to give Windward Islands any chance of overhauling any sort of total, any sort of lead that they might get. So piling on the runs is very important for them, and then bowling out Windward Islands, that will be their plan. It's 437 for 7 after that over. A bit of rain in the air as well, but nothing too threatening, no dark clouds around. We had some rain this morning also, but it's been good conditions so far.
We've been fortunate to get good weather in the last couple of days. I know yesterday our fellow commentator was saying maybe the rain gods might favor the Windward Islands at some point in time. But hopefully we'll get a full day's play. Still good cricket, still a good wicket to bat on. So we're hoping that we'll see a bit of fight from the Windward Island Volcanoes just to give them some sort of confidence moving forward in this tournament.
Yeah, and that's very important. It's been contrasting stats for the Windward Islands in this tournament when you compare it to last year. Last year they won their first 3 games. So far they've lost 1. And basically staring down a defeat if they don't manage to pick up these 3 wickets quickly and bat well also. Batting has been one of the biggest issues for the Windward Islands outfit so far because we keep lamenting on how good the wicket is for batting, and you see it by the scores that the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force batters have made. So Windward Islands will certainly need to bat really well in that second innings.
Well, if they have to make any sort of fist of this chase, they will definitely have to put up an improved batting performance. In the last game, that's something we spoke about as well, having made 195 in their first innings. They did better the second time around, but at that point in time, the game had already gone from them. And this is following a similar template in terms of not doing well in your first innings and really struggling to get the opposition out. But it's an opportunity, as you mentioned. Some of their top order players, they've been struggling in the tournament so far for confidence, for scores. So it's a good time for them to bat and bat for time, spend some time at the crease, and hopefully they'll be able to forward some sort of a result, albeit it's going to be a difficult task.
Yeah, we have to see the ground staff lining up, a bit of drizzle in the air. Plays that one a bit uppishly, Anderson Phillip. It's a battle between the sun and the rain at the moment, isn't it?
If you look in the general direction from which this rain comes from, it's pretty clear. A couple of dark clouds lingering. I'm not the best geography student around, so I'll have to trust the instincts of the groundsmen. Although it must be said, they're not really rushing to the covers. They just have a couple of them there standing, so that's a relatively good sign, a positive sign.
Been a good over so far from Tyson. 5 dot deliveries to Phillip.
What the Windward Islands won't want is a situation where they are frustrated again this morning. Ideally, they will want to clean up the tail, as they would say, get the remaining 3 wickets as quickly as possible and start their batting innings. They don't want a situation where another partnership develops here and frustrate them to some extent. Because I'm sure both openers at some point in time will be thinking about their innings. Solozano, Stefan Pascal.
Good shot, 1 to finish. A maiden over from Tyson. Trinidad and Tobago Red Force, 437 for 7.
A good over there from Tyson. He actually bowled a very good spell late yesterday afternoon, going into the night session. So I'm thinking he has to start again. He's not the best of starters. We've seen that so far in the 2 games which we have seen him bowl. But it's just a matter of getting the lines right. Really troubled Jason Mohammed to some extent in that spell yesterday afternoon. So he'll want more of that for his captain this morning. The captain will be depending on him to bring a little bit of pace, a little bit of fire, a little bit of intimidation for the lower order of the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force.
Yeah, so 4 fielders out. We have a man at deep square, mid wicket, long on, and a man at cover. Perhaps looking to give Carrier that single. Uses his feet, walks it to the left of that man Katoy. Get a single as well. But so we've seen that he's trusted in Anderson Phillip, trusted in his defense. So I don't think Anderson Phillip is a mug with the bat, as they'll say, given how easy it has been for Carrier to just take a single at any point in the over and give him the strike.
That's a very good delivery. I think gone are the days, Stacey, where you had, as they would say, 9-10 jack. it's not a case where we have lower order batsmen. They prefer to be termed as that. Most of the players you see coming in lower in the order, they have some ability with the bat. It's not that they will score hundreds, but they can definitely stick around.
Oh, that was a close shout there from Daryl Cyrus, but the umpire said no. I'd like to see the replay on that one. Maybe impact outside the half stump. But yeah, as you rightly said, they're no longer termed as tail enders. Remember when that was the term? Now, as you said, lower order batters. Looks to cut that one, but misses. And it's highlighted by how well the lower order of West Indies did in that tournament against Pakistan.
Agreed. For a while, I thought that the order was upside down. The way we saw Warwick and the likes of Moti really handled the spinners very well. Contributed also to that defeat for Pakistan. If you just go back down the history road, think about players like Courtney Walsh, Glenn McGrath. Those were what we call genuine number 11s. As another over is completed, Trinidad and Tobago Red Force, they're 438 for the loss of 7, a lead of 272. The number 3 here in this encounter, Windward Island Volcanoes versus the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force. Red Force in a dominant position, it must be said. But this morning, the Windward Islands will want to get themselves back into the contest in some shape or form. I'm sure Gillan Tyson would like to do that. It's an interesting scorecard as well. You see those two ducks. Those are littered amongst those very good scores from the other batsmen. I'm sure those two players will be very disappointed. Captain Joshua De Silva and Jade Gooley.
Just walks that one into the offside to pick up a quick single. And yes, yesterday I recall when I was down in the middle of the pitch before the start of the play. Yesterday, Gooley came aside the wicket and he expressed how disappointed he was because the wicket just looked so good for batting. So if they do get a chance to bat in the second innings, I suspect that he will want to capitalize and cash in on the good batting surface. However, Trinidad and Tobago looks as if they just want to bat once in this game, the way they are going about things.
An interesting change in the field. That man at cover, Cyrus, just coming a bit more closer to the batsman. The last over, we saw a couple of deliveries played uppishly by Anderson Phillip. So he's there for that drive in the air. Still 2 slips. Man at backward point, cover, mid-off, mid-on. Man at square leg and the man at long leg.
Plays at that one, just outside the half stump. Just narrowly missing there. Doesn't really have a big stride into the ball when it's pitched up. So an area that the Windward Islands can look to exploit against him. Well, so far that is, to the pacer.
They will want to take advantage of the opportunities presented so far in terms of bowling to Anderson Phillip, the number 9. So far, he has faced 44 deliveries, so they have had a lot of opportunities at him. Just a matter of executing their plans more effectively.
Well, he latched on to that one. A good foot there by Tyson to prevent it from heading into the boundary. Just over pitching on that occasion. And a straight bat coming down on that one. Good foot by Tyson there to say 4.
Yes, the big size 13 coming down just in time. Good skills, good football skills. I know it's a sport that a lot of these cricketers play, especially in their warm-up sessions. Not a big fan of it.
Plays this one to the onside this time. And he picks up the first 4 of this afternoon rather. So showing his batting ability is Anderson Phillip.
Well, he has huffed and puffed so far, but on that occasion, he blew that house down with that wonderful shot off his legs. A delivery on the line of the mid-run leg stump coming in and walked that one nicely, well timed as well. Pass square leg for his first boundary of the day. He moves on to 17, and the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force, they're up to 443 for the loss of 7. The lead continues to soar up to 277 runs at this time.
Karaya coming down the track. Had to abort his decision there quickly. Ended up getting all the way out to the offside just to negate any sort of inward movement. Walked this one to the onside for a single.
It's a shot we've seen him employed quite often throughout this innings. Just coming onto his front foot and just walking it behind square on the leg side. Against the leg spinner, the ball spinning in, it makes it quite easy for him to execute that shot. He's also opted to use his feet, but not with any set of great intent. Normally he would just knock it down the ground to long on for a single as well. So good skills shown by Carrier.
A sweep shot comes out. That man runs around to his left to keep it to 1. He's also played that shot as well to the pacer, especially when they try to operate on that shorter lane to him. He just gets in the line of the ball and walks it to the onside.
Just looking at the field, there's a man coming in short at square leg. So just in the region we just spoke about. He's more in a defensive position.
Gets an edge, but it runs away. It'll get close to the boundary. Kevin Hodge will just pull it back. To get one to beat him on his outside edge there. So lucky escape in the end for Yannick Carrier. Moves into the 90s now.
I'm wondering if it was somewhat a googly or attempted googly or slide of sort. That one seemed to have kept its line and took the outside edge, but past Hodge again in that slip cordon. That's been a busy zone throughout this match.
A full toss, but straight to that man that's been placed there specifically for that shot.
Just to add, in terms of Hodge, he has had a difficult time in that slip cordon. A lot of edges have gone to his right and also to his left. Yesterday afternoon, he had to really push one over the bar, as they would say.
Walks it a bit straight at that time to pick up another single.
It's been okay.
So that's the end of the over. 5 runs coming from it. Trinidad and Tobago Red Force, 448 for 7.
Just to finish off on the point, it's been a very difficult wicket for you to assess where to stand in the slip cordon, both against the seamers and the spinners. A lot of the edges, as we mentioned yesterday, seem to be going down. So once again, on that occasion, that edge going to his left, difficult for him to really make any sort of effort there with that one just basically going down past him.
And what you're seeing here from Carrier, He's a leg spinner as well, and he's reading everything that Daryl Cyrus is doing well. More importantly, he's playing with the turn. So you see he's played a number of deliveries to the onside, but he's in no danger when he's trying to walk it to that side because he's playing with the turn. Additionally, he's not trying to go aerial. He's just trying to walk it along the carpet. It's been a successful ploy for him so far. He's now facing up to Tyson. And again, just walking it to the onside, they'll push for 2. I think they'll get it quite comfortably in the end.
It's very good cricket there from the Trinidad and Tobago batsman. Carrier just coming into the line. Once again, it's a shot that we have seen on a number of occasions throughout this innings. Just working it just behind the umpire on the onside. And on that occasion, just the right pace really, and allowing them to get 2 easy runs in the end. It's another batsman navigating himself through the 90s, something that we have seen on 3 occasions so far in this game.
And again, just the ease with which he walks that ball into the onside, and he picks the gap very well also. Doesn't try to overhit it, so moves closer to 100. He's now on 95. 450 as well coming up in this over for Trinidad and Tobago Red Force. They are now 451 for 7.
Once again, the Red Force just continue to tick off these milestones. Mentioned 450. Next milestone coming up would be that 100 for Carrier, followed by a lead of 300 runs.
Yeah, and I mentioned this at the start of play. For Windward Islands to get these wickets quickly, they cannot allow Trinidad to dictate proceedings. Trinidad have done that throughout this entire match so far. And now you see Yannick Carrier is just milking it to get to 100. And the quicker he gets to 100, the quicker their lead gets to 300. And then you might start to see some explosion from from him and the other batters to come. So no sort of pressure being placed on these batters this afternoon, which just allowing Carrier to just ease his way to 100.
It's also important to note that it's another partnership developing between these two. Partnership of 48 so far. So it's another situation where they lost a couple of wickets last evening, but they have been able again to consolidate and get their innings back on track. Seen partnerships in this innings of 170, 107, 76, and now we are seeing the 4th highest partnership in the innings of 48.
It's a loud appeal, and the finger goes up. So Tyson gets his man. He's been adjudged LBW, Yannick Carrier, and he has to go back for 95.
Well, I'll tell you what, he has favoured that shot, just working it onto the onside. This delivery a bit fuller on this occasion and striking him just in front. So it's an end of another good innings there from a Trinidad and Tobago Red Force batsman. Yannick Carrier goes for 95. He'll be very disappointed, but it's jubilation for the Windward Islands this afternoon, in the form of Tyson getting his 2nd wicket, and the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force, they are now 452 for the loss of 8. The lead is 286.
Yeah, and I think he knows it as well. That shot that he's been playing so well against both the pacers and the spinners. just getting in line and walking it. That one, just a touch straighter, and he missed it, really. So a good result for the Windward Islands, dismissing Yannick Carrier, before he got to 100.
I think the length was very important on that occasion. If you look at it again, it's a bit fuller than what we have seen so far from Tyson to him. A couple of deliveries ago, he was on his line of his hip, really. So it's just a matter, it's an easier shot to just walk it off his hip. But on this occasion, this pitching on the off stump, coming back in, and there was that front pad. So he had to play around his front pad and missed it. And on that occasion, umpire Butler rightfully adjudging that one to be LBW. So a good breakthrough for the Windward Islands and Tyson. Just think that he has toiled real hard in his last spell yesterday afternoon and then this morning. New batsman being Brian Charles. Something that we have been used to coming out of Trinidad. None more popular than the great Brian Charles Lara himself. First delivery walking out to that man at final leg as I welcome another left-hander in the commentary box. Maybe not of the caliber of Brian Charles Lara, but a very good player indeed. Kenroy Martin, good afternoon to you, Kenroy.
Good afternoon to you, Mr. Cato. Yes, I could play a few shots. Probably not as majestic as Brian Charles Lara, but I could play a few shots. Playing mine from the box these days.
I'll tell you what, the Windward Islands would definitely need to play a few shots this afternoon, but be a bit selective as well. That's what we're calling for. Lead already up to 286. All the breakthrough for them. So that's a good start. 452 for 8. Trinidad and Tobago continue to bat on here at the Annisville Sporting Complex.
Well, a mammoth lead here, 285. Trinidad and Tobago continues to push on here at Annisville in this day-night encounter. As you see another sweep being implemented and goes over the ropes for 4 here. So Philip getting a boundary, bad delivery just around the leg stump and goes for 4.
Well, he has attempted that sweep on a couple of occasions now, but on this occasion, just getting enough on it. Maybe he was aiming for a bit squarer, but got the inner portion of the bat and went fine. And in the end, just enough to get it across the boundary. So he has been a bit positive this morning, more positive than his partner, Carrier. And I'm sure with Carrier leaving in the last over, he will be taking on the responsibility of perhaps attacking the bowling a bit more.
So as you mentioned about those milestones, Trinidad and Tobago edging up to that 300 lead. Carrier was just dismissed on 95. What would be the plan from here on in? 456 for 8. Trinidad and Tobago. There's not a loud appeal. That finger goes up. Slowly but surely, Windwards have picked up 2 wickets in 2 overs thus far. So 456 for 9 now. And Stacey spoke about it, getting these wickets as quickly as possible. And they have struck twice in 2 overs.
It wasn't the most vociferous appeal by the Windward Island fielders. A rather straight delivery in the end. Just missed it completely, Philip, and umpire Crawford judging that one to be LBW. So another wicket goes. It's 456 for 9. Windward Islands looking to close out the innings here this afternoon for the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force.
Well, Cyrus have scored 100 as well on this day. He's at 105. He picked up actually 3 wickets. He has toiled here at Annisville. He's bowled 38 overs thus far. He has scored a brilliant 100 as well.
It's a lot of overs. He has gotten through a lot of work. Those fingers, I'm sure, would have been tired. He started proceedings at the start of yesterday's day's play as well. So he's been made to toil hard for his wickets. But it's good to see that he's finally getting some returns. Always good to get something in that 4th column.
Well, what is good, as you just mentioned, something is in the 4th column for that 100. So he could raise his hands and say, well, I've bowled well. I've bowled a lot of overs. Yes, 100 has been scored off of me, but I got some results. Trinidad and Tobago, 456 for 9. And really, Not really in a spot of bother, but they would like to get to that 300 lead. Psychologically, that could do something for the opponents. And Cyrus looking to actually get the last wicket, the wicket of it is Seals. Seals, who's now has joined Charles. Both men haven't scored a run as yet. So really interesting times here. Just about a day and 3/4 to go. Windies Islands need to bat as long as I've just said. And based on the history of the playing between these two teams, Kato, I would mention it in a bit. You'll be very much worried when we speak of it.
Something we spoke about yesterday. It's going to be a difficult task, but it's not an impossible task. As this one is bold, yes. Good delivery there from Cyrus. A flighted delivery. A bit of turn as well. There was Jaden Seals coming forward, but that one went between bat and pad. So a very good end to the innings for the Windward Islands. A very good end to this. Very good start to this session, it must be said, for both of their bowlers. Cyrus ending up with figures of 4 for 105. So resuming on 429 for 7 Trinidad and Tobago Red Force, they have managed to reach 456 all out. So a very good effort this afternoon, by the Windward Island bowlers.
Well, an excellent delivery to finish things here by Cyrus. An excellent flighted delivery. He got a wicket just like that last evening. Flighting delivery, pitched outside the off stump, using that rough outside that off stump. Came back, dragged back, turned, and racket into the bails. And the Trinidad and Tobago has been bowled out for 456 with a lead of 290. Excellent bowling there by Cyrus. He has 4 for 105.
But it's turning out to be a ground for the leg spinners, Kenroy.
Troubling.
We saw Redwood in the last game getting 7 wickets. We saw Carrier in this first innings picking up 4 wickets. And of course, now we're seeing for the Windward Islands, Cyrus picking up 4 for 105. Just a recap of the innings for you. Cephas Cooper, he was bowled a scat for 117 from 225 deliveries. 12 fours, 1-6, played very well. Jed Gooley seems like a very long time ago since his dismissal. He was LBW bowl Martin for Duck. Amir Django, he was caught Benjamin bowl Tyson for 84. Jason Mohammed, another of those Centurions, he was caught Hodge bowl Descart for 103. Joshua De Silva, he was LBW bowl Hodge for Duck. Yannick Carrier, dismissed this morning, LBW bowl Gillan Tyson for 95. Joshua James, he was LBW Cyrus for 12. Carrie Pear, he was bowled by Cyrus for 2. Anderson Phillip, he was LBW bowled Cyrus for 23. Brian Charles not out. And Jaden C is the last man to go. He was bowled by Cyrus without scoring. In terms of the bowling figures, Gillan Tyson, 24 overs, 7 minutes, 2 for 83. Toiled away for the Windward Islands, bowled a very good spell, I must say, yesterday afternoon under the lights. Darius Martin, 18 overs, 1 minute, 1 for 84. Shadrach Descart, he was steady all along. 21 overs, 5 minutes, 2 for 72. Darius Cyrus, 38.5 overs, 6 minutes, 4 for 105. Perhaps the pick of the bowlers. Lee John, the youngster, making his debut. 20 overs, 1 minute, none for 73. Ambrose with a solitary over. Kavim Hodge, he bowled a good spell yesterday as well. 9 overs, 1 for 23. And Jeremy Solozano, a solitary over as well. So overall, Windward Islands made 166 all out in their first innings. Trinidad and Tobago 456, a lead of 290 runs. We'll take a short break and we'll return with live action in about 10 minutes' time. Good afternoon and welcome back to the Annesville Sporting Complex. Action here in the second round of fixtures between the Windward Island Volcanoes and the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force. Red Force really becoming a force to be reckoned with as this game continues along that path. We have Windward Islands making 156 in their first innings. Red Force 456 all out this morning. So a lead of 290 runs as we see both openers Solozano and Pascal. Solozano on strike facing up to Jaden Seals. It's going to take something. It's going to take a Herculean effort here this afternoon, Kenroy.
Gotta got some magic. Gotta have some magic being worked here for the Windward to really get out of this one. First delivery outside the off stump. Shoulder arms into the keeper's glove. But a lead of 290. A day and 3/4 remaining. Really, Trinidad and Tobago has done exceptionally well. You must say they have batted in partnerships, they have batted together, they bowl together, they play as a team. And that is what brought the difference on both sides of the fence here. We have seen a team effort from Trinidad and Tobago. Everybody played to their strengths. They knew their responsibilities when they came to the crease. They batted in partnerships, they bowled in partnerships, and the fielders supported each other. So Windwards looking at a deficit of 290 runs. At the crease is Solozano. He's yet to give us a good score in this tournament so far. Pascal himself, he's in my opinion, a dasher. He gets good starts but never really carries on. He's been playing cricket at the under-19 level for a long time. He's now into the senior setup, so he has experience under his belt. He's played some cricket for Windwards. This one is a lifting delivery down the leg side, well taken by the wicket keeper. So the wicket still has some pace in it, some juice. Seals are sitting the deck and that one just flying down leg. So what would be the intentions of the Windward Islands batters here?
Well, I think first and foremost, Kenroy, they need a partnership. We can't stress the importance of partnerships enough. We've already highlighted the various partnerships that occurred during the Red Force's innings. So that's something that these two will really have in mind. As you mentioned, they haven't really set the world alight so far in this tournament. Solozano had a good tournament last year, but we haven't seen the same returns from him so far in this tournament. And as you mentioned, Stefan Pascal, the vice captain in this game, been shouldered with a bit more responsibility. He needs to put his hand up really and play a big one for the Windward Islands if they are to make a fist of this particular deficit.
Well, they need to make more than a fist. They need both hands to come together. Both hands to come together in this innings and work together to make things work for them. As Seals changes his approach, he comes over the wicket. He started around and bowl a straighter line and length here to Solozano. Deficit of 290 runs. That's a huge deficit. Trinidad and Tobago very comfortably at where they're at now. But something that is very interesting, Kato, is that check the history between these two teams for the past 6 games. For the past 6 games from actually 2022. The history between these two teams, and it's very interesting. This one is a lifting delivery outside the off stump into the keeper's glove. And the over comes to an end. Windward Islands in their second innings, they are none without loss. And they have a deficit of 290. Place here by Trinidad. Some excellent batting. Trinidad finished their innings and a mama total of basically 450 56. Windward's got 166. In the last 6 games being played between these two teams, Windward Islands and Trinidad Red Force, the Volcanoes, Trinidad and Tobago have won 6 of those games and 1 drawn game between these two teams, stemming from 2022 up to 2025. Last 6 games, 1 drawn game. Sorry, the last, yes, they have won 5, drawn 1 from 2022 to 2025, even though Windward Islands have finished second in this tournament for the past 2 years. Trinidad and Tobago has beaten them for the past 6 games from 2022.
I'll tell you what, records are said to be broken. Kenroy, we'll be hoping that there could be a change of direction in Windward Island Volcanoes. I'm sure going out to bat this afternoon, that was not one of the records that would have been brought up in the chat. The chat would have basically been centered around getting a partnership going, putting some pressure back on the Trinidad and Tobago fielders, the bowlers, having them in the sun, spend some time in the sun. They haven't spent a lot of time in the sun. I think that's the challenge, really. Windward Islands, in the last 2 games, they have spent a lot of time in the sun. Their bowlers have been sun-baked for hours. Despite the fitness levels that we've spoken about before, it takes its toll. It takes its toll at some point in time. So when he's punching off the back foot, Stefan Pascal, always a glorious player to watch whenever he's in full flow, and none more so than on that occasion where he stood tall and punched that one in front of square for the first boundary for himself and the Windward Islands, therefore without loss.
Yeah, that's meat and drink for Stefan Pascal. That's his area, really. He plays that shot in his sleep, basically. So that's a very good shot for him. A scoring opportunity for him, and he took advantage of that into defensive 4. So he started his quest here in the second innings with a lovely shot through backward point for 4. Again, he's playing that shot a little bit more effort there from Phillips, putting in a little bit more effort, a shorter length, and went across the bat into the keeper's glove.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's a bit of carry we are seeing. This wicket remains a very good batting wicket. Philip on that occasion, as you mentioned, perhaps putting in a bit more effort into that delivery, got a bit more bounce, a bit more lift. Pascal looking to replicate the previous shot that he played, but on this occasion missed it completely, thankfully for him and the Windward Island Volcanoes.
Well, 3 slips, a gully, a backward point, square, cover, mid-off, mid-on, and the fine leg. They are in waiting. Phillips, there's an appeal. Not out, says the umpire.
Looking back at the replay, I think it's a bit too high. He's a tall man, Stefan Pascal. That one hitting him above the knee roll. Umpire Crawford on this occasion judging that one to be not out. It's an important spell of play for the Windward Islands. Mentioned Pascal, he likes to feel the ball onto his bat. He's an attacking player by nature, but just needs to curb those natural instincts to some extent. See off this opening spell under Sir Philip and West Indies opening bowler in the form of Jaden Seals.
This one, he's driving, hands off of the bat. It goes through covers, he's getting close to the rope. It goes over the ropes now. So 4 runs to Pascal again. Took his hand off of that, and it raced through covers for 4. Was fully in control of that one. 4 runs.
Another display of elegance from Stefan Pascal. It wasn't a half volley by any means. It was a delivery on a good length, played it on the up. But it just goes to show that this wicket remains a very good batting wicket. Timed it to perfection through the covers for his second boundary of the over. The Windward Islands, they move on to 8 without loss.
Well, that tells you how sweet it is to bat on this wicket. That Pascal is playing like he's in a practice session, actually driving with one hand through covers for 4. Philip continues. Short lifting one. He's going to pull. Only find the man James there at short mid-on. So expecting a reply from that from a West Indies fast bowler after being struck for 2 fours. But that brings you over to an end. It's 8 without loss. Pascal have struck Phillips through the covers on 2 occasions. Windward Islands are 8 without loss.
Pascal so far has shown a lot of attacking intent. Maybe it's the best way that he knows how to operate. We spoke about the need to form a partnership and perhaps curb his natural instincts. But so far what we have seen from him is that he's prepared for the fight in terms of fighting fire with fire against these 2 seamers. Whether or not that is the right approach, it is left to be seen as this afternoon session goes on.
I want to go back to what we were speaking about a little earlier, Mr. Cato. And in 2022, Windwards versus the Red Force, TNT batted first and scored 326 all out. In 2022, Windward Islands in their first innings, they were skittled out for 97, and in the second innings, 186. In 2022, that was way back. That's about 40 years back from 2025. In 2023, they played TNT. Windward Islands, they got 244. Trinidad and Tobago in reply got 315. They went back to the crease. They got 184 for 4. And Trinidad in reply got 225 for 7. That is in 2023. In 2024, Windward Islands got 194 for 10. All out. TNT got 294 as well. So it was a very close first innings, 294 as well. And just making sure this is correct. Windward's got 194. Trinidad got 294 in their first innings. Windward's got 194. They batted a second time, they got 288, and Trinidad in their second innings got 186 for 4. Winning that game as well. And this game that is presently here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Windward Islands was skittled out for 166, and Trinidad and Tobago with a mammoth total of 406 all out. So the history speaks for itself.
He's bowled him.
Oh my
Just
word.
as he was going through these statistics, Kenoy, I was about to say that this is going to be a good matchup once again. Jaden Seals, he got Stefan Pascal in the first innings, a delivery nipping back. LBW on this occasion, castling that off stump. Very good delivery. So Windward Islands, they are 1 wicket down, 9 for 1. Stefan Pascal goes for 8. Jaden Seals amongst the wickets once again.
Well. History speaks for itself. Numbers don't lie. And really and truly, Trinidad and Tobago has been the dominant force to be between these 2 teams for the past 6 years or so. They have not really lost a game against the Windward Islands Volcanoes. And really, they have started this second innings on a positive note. Stefan Pascal, after 2 lovely shots through the covers, he is now gone bowled by Seals. And the Windwards have lost Pascal. I said he normally gets starts, but the thing is that he doesn't carry on.
Just looking at that dismissal again, Kenroy, if you can recall, in the first innings, he got a delivery coming back into him, a similar length, and he was trapped LBW on the crease. On this occasion, that delivery seemed to have left him. He was playing for the one to come back into him, like it happened in the first innings, but this one just tailed away and took the top of our stump. So it must be said, a very good delivery as well from Jaden Seals, really showing his class here as a West Indies premier fast bowler at this time.
Well, as a batter, you should be disappointed with that. That was a full delivery. Really should be coming back past the bowler. Stefan Pascal played all around that, looking to go on the onside. It was a full delivery pitched on the offside. He went going on the onside and lost his off stump. Really, that should have been a full face of the bat coming back. But kudos to Seals, and he picks up his first wicket. This brings the Centurion to the crease. Immediately there's an appeal And Hodge comes off the mark. No, it's just a leg by. Leg by signal by umpire Butler. So Windward Islands now 10 for 1. Just going down leg. Seems to me like it's going down leg. So good call there by Dighton Butler.
Rather optimistic appeal there by the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force team. That delivery clearly going down the leg side. So what we've seen from Jaden Seals, Kenroy, is that he has the ability to take it away from the left-handers as well as bringing it back into the left-handers.
Some good skills to have as a fast bowler. Just knowing how to use them and when to use them. This one is a good one, but hitting the outer portion of the bat. Lozano just getting it to backward point into the fence for 4. A diving man at goal, he couldn't do anything about that. 4 runs to him, 4 runs to Windward Islands.
Another good delivery there from Jaden Seals, really making the ball talk here this afternoon. Delivery pitching and moving away from the left-handed Lozano, taking the outer portion of the bat. But as we have seen so far in this game, edges seem to be going down. The man there at gully diving to his right, but really had no chance of preventing that from going down to the boundary for 4 runs. So good cricket here, good intriguing cricket, good testing cricket, just what you want to see at this particular level.
Trinidad slip corner has reminded me of the olden days of West Indies cricket. There are now 5 slips in place. Seals running away from us. Good delivery. My God, there's an appeal. What happened there? I think it's shot the pad. Keeper took it low. See the replay there. Kept low. Outside the off stump, not outside the umpire. Well, everything is happening here. That brings you over to, and I think he should be happy for the end of this over.
Yes, that one just hitting him outside the off stump, a bit high as well. So Lozano is not the tallest of players, but that one comfortably missing the off stump. But as you mentioned, a lot happening, especially with Jaden Seals with that ball in his hand. He's definitely getting some movement with this new ball, this pink ball, and it's going to be a difficult period of play really for the Windward Island Volcano batsmen.
Well, they have the Centurion at the crease, Kevin Hodge. He got 126 in the first innings. He was the mainstay. Actually, the only man who gave the Trinidadian bowlers any fight at all. He got a beautiful 100. But it's Philip to Hodge. This one is short and he's pulling. Down to fine leg. Gets off the mark. I'm sure that Trinidad and Tobago wouldn't mind that.
He appears to be a compulsive puller, Kavim Hodge. That delivery short of a length, and he was quick on to that one as well. We saw in the first innings that he was tested on a number of occasions with the short delivery, both against Philip and Jaden Seals. Came through that fight, came through that period on top. Recall in the first innings a pull shot for 6 as well versus Jaden Seals. So it's a length that they will definitely test him on. Just a matter of him being selective.
So Lozano, in behind that one, had a good series for Windward Island's last tournament. Hasn't gotten that sort of start that he got last year. So Lozano, still looking for some form, still looking to hit the ball in the middle, still looking to get runs on the board. Second round of games. Windwards have not really played the cricket that we are accustomed to see them playing in the past few years or so. Trinidad and Tobago, from the history tells us that they're accustomed to beat the Windward Islands, even though they are playing good cricket. That is what is really important here. Trinidad is very much comfortable playing against the Volcanoes, the Red Force.
But based on those figures we heard you mention a while ago, Kenroy, I think it's clear to see that the batting has really not been up to par for the Windward Islands in those encounters. So it's something that they have to put right if they are to compete with Trinidad and Tobago as well as other teams, the other good teams that are in this tournament, the likes of Leeward Islands and Guyana. Those are the teams that are in the upper echelon of the competition. So their batting definitely need to be sorted out. And it's a good place to start in terms of the second innings.
Brilliant. And I think about 3 occasions Windward Islands Volcanoes didn't get past 200 runs in those innings. At one point they were shut out for 97 in one of the innings. Really, all out, and then they came back and were shut out for 186.
And then we saw in this 4 innings total 166. So it's a trend that they will need to sort out. Both of these players at the crease, both experienced players. So Lozano, what we've seen of him so far, he's looked rather comfortable at the crease. As this one is walked nicely down to fine leg. Yes, he has looked rather comfortable at the crease, but at times that loose shot has led to his downfall on a number of occasions. So even in the 1st innings, it was a loose drive outside the off stump that led to his demise.
Well, the highest score so far in those games from the Windward Islands was 288. 288. That was in 2024. They got 288 and 194 in that game. Both innings. Still lost that game to Trinidad and Tobago though. Still lost that game.
It's the end of another over. And at the end of it, 4 overs completed. Windward Island Volcanoes, they are 16 for 1 the second time around. They are now trailing by 274 runs.
Well, I think this is a game where the skipper, Sonny Lambris, and the senior statesman, Hodge, would really have to bat deep into the innings if Windwards even have the littlest, ambition of saving this game or drawing this game. These 2 persons need to bat in this game. Actually probably getting the highest total ever against Trinidad. Based on the follow-on here, 274. The highest total against Trinidad is 288. That is just a figure. Those are just the figures. 288 in those games. Biggest total for the Windward Islands. Seals continue to bowl that ball just on the 4th stump. 5 slips actually waiting there. Salazano. He's the man doing battle for the Windward Islands. Just over an hour play. Trinidad was bowled out earlier this evening. 456. Cyrus picked up 4 for 105. He toiled long and hard as he scampers for another single. Windward 17 for 1. Pascal losing his off stump to Seals, playing all around it. And Windward's in all the trouble here at Andersville playing field.
Just looking at Jaden Seals, it's quite impressive in terms of his control of length and line so far. He's been able to get the ball to move, but he has been able also to get the ball in the right places. It's a right and left hand combination at the moment, but he seems to be in control. When you look at him running, knows what he's about to do. This one is a full length delivery once again, coming back into Kavim Hodge, getting the inner portion of the bat. Yes, he seemed to just have an idea of what he's looking to achieve. He seemed to have his plans clear in his head as he run in. 3 slips and a gully in place. So definitely getting the support of the captain, Joshua De Silva. Mention is not a wicket that we have seen a lot of wickets for the seamers, but he's definitely looking threatening at the moment.
Either his line and his length has been on par again. Good length. Hodge just getting inside and turning it to square leg. Picks up a single. Oh, how we would love to get a back-to-back 100 here, Hodge. Batted sternly in the 1st innings. Pressure on him coming out of that series against Pakistan. First game, scoring 126. Soldered right to the end. So Lozano is on 7 from 16 delivery. Hodges 2 from 5. Seals 1 for 7. Trinidad and Tobago has a lead of 272. Another good delivery by Seals. Played well by Salazano.
Challenge for the Windward Island batsmen as well is that this opening burst by Jaden Seals and Anderson Phillip is soon to be followed by the introduction of the spinners. We saw 8 wickets being taken by the spinners in the first innings as well. So that in itself is going to be a challenge. But like we mentioned before, that is what the longer format of the game really offers to you in terms of different challenges. So you have the challenges of facing up to the new ball with these two, and then that critical moment of the game where we're going to see the introduction of the spinners in the form of Carrier and Carey Pair. It's a loud appeal and seemed to have been a confident appeal as well from Jaden Seals. Never really turned around to look at the umpire. Maybe taking it for granted that it would have gone in his favor as we look at the replay. Perhaps just pitching outside the leg stump. We don't have the benefit of the Hawkeye and all of these technology. But in the eyes of umpire Butler, who is the most important man in the middle at this time, judging it to be not out. I think the issue here is where it pitched. There's no doubt that it ended up being in front of the stump there, Solizano, but I'm sure the doubt for the umpire would have been around where exactly it pitched. He's bowling over the wicket. It needed to pitch on the stumps because clearly ended up hitting him in front, plumb in front if you ask me, but it's a matter of where it pitched.
I think Hawkeye would have done the job. That's all I would say on that decision. Hawkeye would have done the job. Well,
but I think Jaden Seals, he was quite confident. If you look at him, he never turned once to look at the umpire. He was just celebrating. He was off celebrating basically. So it showed the level of confidence he had in that appeal. But umpire Butler didn't respond in the affirmative. And the Windward Islands, they are 18 for 1.
Oh, there we go. 18 for 1. Salazano surviving a very confident appeal. Titan Butler is the man who makes a decision on field. They won't have a referral here. This tournament, probably something we may see during the next series or the next tournament being played in the Caribbean, where those decisions could be referred to the third umpire. But as it is now, it's not out, so Trinidad would have to continue to fight here. 18 for 1. Hodges, the man on strike, he has 2. Uphill task here for the Windward Islands. Another good delivery there by Phillip, just on that 4th stump.
It's interesting to observe as well the difference in lengths that the Trinidad and Tobago Pacers utilize versus what we saw from the Windward Island seamers. What we are seeing from these two opening bowlers is that they are prepared to bowl a fuller length and they are attacking the stumps a bit more as well. The Windward Islands, on the other hand, they tend to bowl revert to a shorter length. So it's just an interesting observation in terms of the difference of lengths that both seamers from the teams are utilizing.
Yes, the Trinidadians are hitting that hard length just in front of the batter, where he is like in no man's land, really, between back and forward, back and front, either play on the front foot or half cock. Just on that length, always asking the question, Seals and Phillips, whereas the Windward Island fast bowlers, they either bang it in short or it's too full, hit the good areas now and again. But they have to be more consistent with that length. That is something I think that they need to work on a little bit more. Again, beautiful shot there by Hodge. Just coming back and punching it through backward point. Hits that fielder into the fence for 4. Just a little bit width, a little bit more width. And Hodge make use of that delivery into the fence for 4 4 wonderful runs here by Hodge through backward point.
Yeah, Hodge showing his class on that occasion. But delivery on the line of the off stump, just punching it really and timing it to perfection, as you mentioned, flying off his bat. Put some pressure back on the Trinidad and Tobago team.
He's cutting again, beautifully fielded by the man. It's backward point, square cover. If that had passed, it would have racked it into the fence for 4. But some excellent fielding there by the man. Windward Islands 22 for 1. 22 for 1. Remember, they have a deficit of 268 runs remaining here. Windward Islands Volcanoes, they trail by 268. Trinidad and Tobago pile up 456 all out. They were replying to Windward Islands 166 all out. And we are into the 3rd day of this 4-day encounter. Lots of time remaining in this game. Windwards need to bat as long as possible, remain as positive as possible as well. Don't go into any shells. Keep swimming. Keep paddling. Windwards. Seals again. Good delivery just on that hard length outside the off stump. Good single taken by these 2. Good running, good calling, good communication. Score moves up to 23 for 1.
Good batting there by Solozano. It's important that they rotate the strike as well. We mentioned the left and right hand combination at the crease at this point in time. And so far we have seen Jaden Seals cause a bit of discomfort for Solozano. So it's good to see him at the other end. Hodge, on the other hand, he has looked quite assured at the crease so far. Both of these West Indies senior players. So it's the type of contest that you like to see here in the regional cricket.
Seals just on that hard length again. There's some soft hands being used there by Hodge. That tells you that he's seeing the ball. He's allowing the ball to come to the bat. That's a good sign for a batsman when you can make those sort of adjustments.
Jaden Seals into his 4th over. Normally will bowl a spell of 5 overs, so that's something that the Windward Islands will have to bear in mind. Once again, hitting that length, making the batsman play. .23 for 1. That man Hodge again. He will have a big role to play, a big say to play, a big say in the 2nd innings. Those batsmen to follow, I'm sure they'll be sitting there visualizing the path that they're going to take whenever they get the opportunity. They'll be hoping that the opportunity is not anytime soon. This one again is a good delivery on the line of the off stump. Hodge just seemed to be getting into the right positions to play. Have a lot of time as well. It's not the quickest wicket. It's a good wicket for batting. And it has been proven with the number of centuries we've had in this game. 3 centuries so far. Also had a 95 and the 84. So it tells me that as a batsman, you can actually score runs on this wicket. Going for the drive on that occasion, not timing it. Kavim Hodge. Just going back to the issue of the battle between these West Indies pacers, that's something that was a feature of the first class cricket in the 90s, in the early 2000s, where you had these guys, Courtney Ambrose, playing against the likes of Brian Lara and the like. Perhaps that contributed to the crowds that we used to see at the first class games around that time, as this one is walking it past the man there at backward point. Should get close to the boundary. Can't prevent two though. Joshua James, the man there. Actually, Gooley, sorry. Chasing. So it's the end of another over. 2 runs coming from it. And Windward Island Volcanoes in their second innings, they are 25 for 1.
Well, 25 for 1. 7 overs been bowled here at Arnesville playing field. Windward is looking at a deficit of 265 now. They have a day and 3/4 to play. I think the team here, the goal here is to bat as long as possible, to stay as positive as possible. As we welcome back into studios here, Stacey. Welcome back, Stacey.
Yeah, good afternoon. Trinidad and Tobago Red Force in the middle of a very impressive opening spell between these two bowlers, mainly Jaden Seals. Windward Island Volcanoes with a lot of work to do.
Phillips continue on that hard length, just on about off stump. Silazano right behind of it. Plays it to the man, short extra cover. 2 slips, gully, square cover, short extra cover, mid off, mid on, mid wicket, and the fine leg.
Yeah, earlier you called out some very daunting statistics. If you're in the Windward Islands camp, surely they are privy to such information, and what you've seen is that Trinidad and Tobago, they've been able to beat Windward Islands in the last 3 years, maybe even more if we go through the history.
Yeah. This tournament has been played for the last 9 years, and Trinidad and Tobago won runners-up for the past 2 years. Windward Islands were. They came second on 2 occasions to Guyana. Guyana have won the tournaments. Out of that 9, I think they got 7 titles. So even though Trinidad has beaten the Windward Islands were good enough to beat the other teams and get to that finals.
Full driven, a bit of an edge, but it'll get to the boundary for 4. And our co-commentator Osnet mentioned that a number of the edges they keep going down. Maybe some soft hands as well by Jeremy Solozano. He wasn't in control of that shot, but he picks up a boundary nonetheless.
There was a fuller delivery by Philip. We have not seen him bowl at length for the day. And Solozano came on his front foot. Face of the bat came open, hit the outer portion of the bat, flew between backward point and gully, and came down to the third man fence for 4. As he said, he wasn't in total control, but at least got to the fence for 4.
Yeah, if you look at his footwork, he's not getting very close to those deliveries to drive them. Similar to how he got dismissed in the first innings, looking to drive, but then he get close enough to it, ended up edging it to the Silver, the captain. Walks this one that time. A man at gully gets a hand to it to slow it down. They'll pick up 2.
And immediately there's a change in the field. One of the third slip has gone to an extra gully, so there are 2 gullies, 2 slips, a backward square, cover, mid off, mid on, and the fine leg. So he's looking to bowl that ball just on the off stump. And so Lozana comes on the front foot and tries to drive it through covers, where he brings those 2 slips and that gully area into action. This time he's just opened up the face, a full delivery, tried to get it full, and he punched it through 2 men at gully raced away into the fence for 4. So a full loose delivery by Phillips, and Salazano dealt with it accordingly into the fence for 4.
Yeah, it seems to be the plan against him for Trinidad and Tobago Red Force. Just keep taking it across him, enticing him into the drive. That time in full control. That man Carripier in action again. He was in action against that previous delivery, getting a hand to it, slowing it down. On that occasion, not able to pull it in, and he gets another boundary. So a plan that they're working with against Salazano. He has to be wary of that and not fall into that trap. But those 2 deliveries, a bit too short of a good length to really entice a fuller drive from him. He's just been able to get on the back foot and work it in that area.
Well, bad delivery, that was a full one. Dealt with in accordance as Phillips runs away again. This is a better delivery. Inside the off stump into the keeper's glove. The over comes to an end. 35 for 1. 35 for 1. 8 overs bowled here. In this second innings for the Windward Islands, Trinidad and Tobago. At their turn of the crease, they scored 456. Prior to that, Windward Islands got 166. So Philip has bowled 4 overs to 24. So Lozano is 18 from 25. And Windwards are 35 for 1.
Yeah, we have to keep in mind as well, Jeremy Salazano, he's from Trinidad and Tobago. So they should be aware of, his weaknesses. And it looks as if they're preying on that, the lengths that they've employed against him so far in this match.
So Seals continue from this end, the Beckway end. Hodges on top of that one. Plays with nice off hands. Good adjustment. This is a very good wicket for batting, as we mentioned before. Once you get in, you should score runs. Keep the ball on the carpet. Don't take the undue risk. And surely to score runs on this wicket. This time he's driving outside the off stump. Wide delivery. Hodge went for the drive and he's taken a third slip, and they have gotten the big wicket of Hodge. He's gone back to the pavilion, caught at slip off the bowling of Seals for 8, and Windwards have fallen into even further trouble here. Oh my God, 35 for 2.
A massive wicket in the context of this game. Kavem Hodge, she scored 126 runs out of that 166 for Windward Islands, and it's been smart bowling from Jaden Seals. Look at that delivery. He's been fuller to him, he's been straighter to him on that occasion, just offering up a bit of room around that 5th stump line, and Kavem Hodge falling into the trap, looking to play with hands, not a lot of feet on that occasion, and he has to go back. So Windward Islands Volcanoes, they slip into further trouble. 2 wickets down for 35 runs.
Numbers don't lie, Stacey, and the numbers don't lie. It's right in front of you. Hodge got 126 in the first innings. He was the only man who batted fiercely against this bowling attack. And remember, the spinners haven't touched the ball as yet. It's 35 for 2. Here comes Kieran Kotoy against the bowling of Jaden Seals and Phillips, who have done exceptionally well for Trinidad and Tobago. And remember, there's a mountainous, there's a hike to be made, 255. I know my fellow commentator went up to La Soufrière this morning for his usual exercise. He said it was pretty good weather, and he came back. No sores, but I think that Windies have picked up 2 sores so far. Probably ring an ankle or something.
Yeah, when you also look at the wicket taken, it's good planning from the captain. He's had 2 slips for most of the over to Kavim Hodge and maybe a gully or 2 gullies. Now he has 3 slips for Katoy. And if you look at the way Kavim Hodge got out, it looks as if he was trying to steer it into that third man region, but not able to control it, and just edges it to that man there in the slip cordon. So good planning from Jaden Seals and Trinidad and Tobago. I've been looking at the way he's been bowling to the left-handers and the right-handers. Now has another left-hander in strike, Jaden Seals. And so what I've noticed of him so far, particularly to the left-handed batter when he was bowling to Salazano, he has looked to target that fourth stump line, bowling that line, nipping it across the left-handed batter on a good length constantly, and then he looks to bowl it a bit fuller to the left-handed batter, because the batter is then across the wicket expecting that delivery to leave them, but instead he bowls a straighter one, that angled straighter delivery, and hopes that it straightens. You remember in that over against Salazano where the umpire judged him not out for that LBW shout. And that's the plan that he's working with to the left-handed batters. Right on cue, just keeps nipping it across them ever so slightly for the majority of the over.
I think that delivery to Hodge caught Hodge in no man's land. He was in between defense and attack really, and he pushed at that delivery hard, and the man at second slip really took a catch just above his chest, and he took a regulation catch really, and some good bowling here by Seals, catching Hodge in that no man's land area where he guessed whether to forward or back, and took that edge into the second slip, and the Windies Islands fall even further into trouble, 35 for 2. And there's a lead of 255 runs still on the board. Seals have 2 for 10 so far. Kieran Katoy. This one is a lifting delivery outside your stump with some pep in his step here. Seals just putting a little extra effort into that one. And Kieran Katoy drops his shoulders and let that one go into the glove of the wicketkeeper. Well, 1 bring 2, 2 bring 3. That's the thing that we normally see. Seals on a really good rhythm for Trinidad and Tobago. 33 on his back. This one is a better delivery, straighter one as well.
Yeah, I mentioned that is his plan to the left-handed batters. He takes it across them, and then he brings that straighter one back. On that occasion, Kieran Katoy firmly behind it.
Well, that brings you over to an end. It's 35 for 2. Salazar is on 18 from 25, and Kieran Katoy is yet to score. Windward's Volcanoes, they trail by 255. Remember, early in the first day, Windward's won the toss and elected to bat. They were skittled out for 166. And that man Hodge, he got 126 in the efforts, 166, and in their first turn at the crease, Trinidad and Tobago, they made a total of 456 all out. Cyrus was a pick of the bowlers for Windwards. So Lozano just turning that one to mid-on as Philip continues to bowl straight on the stumps. He got 4. Cyrus got 4 for 105. He toiled all day yesterday into today. So 4 dissolvingly wicket there for him. And 2 spinners from Trinidad got 4 wickets as well. So it's good to see the pacers coming amongst the wickets in the second innings here for Trinidad and Tobago. Still wondering what would happen with this wicket for the spinners for Trinidad and Tobago after that last delivery of the Windward Islands innings. Shorter delivery. So Lozano is on top of that. No trouble at all. Saw that ball span from outside the off stump, clipping actually the second bail. So it seems to be taking a lot of turn, this wicket. Once you give it the time in the air and give it some flight, it does a lot.
Yeah, while the spinners probably can't wait to get the ball into their hands. Because the Pacers are doing a pretty decent job for their team so far.
Slight breeze just blowing across the ground. Flags are flying on the right hand side. This one is just inside edge, a quick single taken by these two. Stifled appeal, another run.
Yeah, and I think it's a good single for Jeremy Solizano. I think Anderson Phillip was walking away with a plan at him. So it'll be good just to have a new batter on strike to him. Just to see if he has to change his plans to this new batter. Of course, Kieran Couture, he's short of runs so far. Was dismissed by Carey Pear in that first innings. In that game against Jamaica, his highest score was 31 of the 2 innings. So he should have a point to prove. He has all day to bat. He should be looking to do just that for the Windward Islands Volcanoes. He's facing up to the seamer now. It's quite interesting though. Javar Royal, left arm spinner, dismissed him at the back end of that game against Jamaica, and Carey Pear, another left arm spinner, dismissing Kieran Couture, really throwing the matchup theory out of the window. You will think that a left arm spinner bowling to him should be within his favor, but it has not proven so far for Kieran Couture.
Well, they normally see a strength could be a weakness. So it's probably vice versa here. Probably working on the opposite side for Kieran Couture. With the left arm seamers and left arm spinners coming into him. Probably likes it going away. But there's a change of angle here from Phillip. This time he's bringing it into Kieran Couture, who plays it firmly down to the man at mid-off. He picks up another single.
Yeah, and he's off the mark as well with that shot. Solizano back on strike. And immediately, a change of field. They had 3 slips for Couture, and they've gone back to that plan where they have 2 slips and 2 fielders closer to that gully area.
And that has been evident between these two teams.
Well, in fact, Carey Pear just went back to the 3rd slip. He was just having a conversation with Cooper. So 3 slips now.
Trinidad and Tobago seems to me that they know exactly what they want to do when you're bowling to a batter. From the other end of things, the Windward Islands, it just seems to bowl at a batter without a plan or so on. But Trinidad and Tobago seems to, from my vantage point, that they have studied the opponents and they know exactly what to do, how to do it, who to bowl, when to bowl them, and so on. So that is good on their behalf. But those are things that Windward Islands need to look at and really structure their play a little bit different to how they play this game.
Yeah, well, Seals is about to get the 6th over. And why not? He's in the middle of an impressive spell.
Well, he has 2 for 10 from 5 overs, including 2 maidens, 2 very good wickets, and a very good shout against Solizano earlier, turned down by umpire Butler. So he's probably saying I should have gotten 3. He's still running in. He's around the wicket now.
Yeah, around the wicket now, and just like you mentioned, it appears as if some pre-planning is on show here from a Trinidad and Tobago perspective. Right away, Anderson Phillip, he went around the wicket to Kieran Couture, and now you're seeing Jaden Seals. He was over the wicket predominantly, even when he was bowling to the left-handed Solizano, and now he has opted to go around the wicket to Kieran Couture.
I think they have seen Kieran Couture as an LBW candidate. If you bowl a ball straighter, he looks to play more on the onside, so he closes the face of the bat. As you see there, closes the face of the bat, but it goes straight back, passes the man, come close to the fence. He's gone for 1, he's back for 2, coming back for 3. The field set could tell you that as well, Stacey Ann.
Yes, certainly. On that occasion, just a gentle push by Kieran Katoy down the ground, but Trinidad and Tobago, they won't mind that too much. They have a lot of runs to play with. 2 wickets already down. Windward Islands Volcanoes, they're currently 250 runs behind.
Because there's a fine leg, there's a mid-wicket, there's a mid-on. There was no mid-off. You have just seen that adjustment from that shot. There was a man at 3 slips, a backward point, and a cover. There was no mid-off. There was no mid-off. Now that mid-off comes into play.
Yeah, well, he's opting to stay around the wicket still to Salozano.
Salozano with that era of scoring. So far, he has gotten 2 boundaries in that era. Backward point. Down to third man. He picks up another 2 runs, but good feeling by that man chasing that ball down to the boundary. So 42 for 2.
Yeah, I think Salozano has shown that he seemed to be a lot more comfortable with the ball coming into him. And with that, he's able to just wait on it and play it under his eyes, where I think that's a comfort zone to him. So far, we've seen in the 2 games, the ball going away from him seems to present a bit of a challenge to him.
So Seals look a little bit drained, walking back to his mark. He has bowled 5 overs thus far. He's into the 6th. He has 2 for 15, 2 maidens. Cricket. Tough game it is. Must be fit physically. This one is played nicely back past the bowler. Picks up 1.
Yeah, so that length and that line, he's able to negate it quite well, Salozano. On that occasion, just a gentle push again down the ground for 1. He's seen enough around the wicket seal, so he's decided to go over the wicket now. So change of angle again for Seals.
Kieran Katoy was hitting that one back to Seals. Seals just trying to get it out of his hands back to those 3 pieces of timber. We call them the stumps. Didn't control it in the way that he thought he had. Just balloon into the man at 2nd slip. So Lozano, he's on 22. Katoy is on 4 from 9. This one is a straighter delivery again. Katoy just plays with a straight bat. That brings it over to an end. 43 for 2. Reminding you that Windward scored 166 all out in the first innings. And they have a deficit in this innings of 247 because of some excellent batting by Trinidad and Tobago. They got to 456. For 10 in that 456, 200s were scored.
Yeah.
2 other half centuries.
Yeah, 2 brilliant hundreds by Cephas Cooper and that reliable figure of Jason Mohammed for this Trinidad and Tobago Red Force outfit. Half centuries by Amir Jangu and Yannick Carrier.
And if I remember correctly, Carrier was one of those persons who scored 100. I think in 2022, he got 147.
So Windward Islands seemed to be a favorite team of his.
He got 95 this morning. Yeah. So Trinidad and Tobago seems to favor playing the Windwards from the results. From those statistics, from those numbers, Trinidad love playing the Volcanoes. It doesn't matter where or when. So these fast bowlers been given an extended run here. They're now into a over number 11, 12. They have bowled some good deliveries thus far, keeping these batters on track. Salazano has been solid for his 22. Kiran Kotoy scratching a little bit at the crease, but getting into his own. Salazano solid as a rock behind that. Said prior that he had a pretty good season, Stacey, for the Windward Islands, the Volcanoes last season. Salazano, he was one of the mainstays. They would want to have him at the crease as long as possible in this game.
Yeah, best of 80 last year. So far, he's gotten some starts in his 4 innings. Has a start here again today, but hasn't really pushed on.
He's driving into that area, that productive area for Salazano. That's his third bung with you, backward point down to third man. Seems to have just barely clipped the fingers of that man at gully there, but evaded him into the fence for 4. So 4 more runs for Salazano. He moves up to 26.
Yeah, he's driving it, but I really don't think he's trying to get it in that area. I think he's looking to get that through the cover region. And again, not in full control of that shot, Salazano. Yes, the result of 4 runs, but not in control. And I don't think Joshua De Silva will mind that too much. Just a case now of one of those deliveries going to one of the fielders in the slip cordon. So they will continue to encourage him to drive from that length.
So those 2 slips and 2 gullies have been implemented. Cover, short extra cover point, mid off, mid on, and the man at fine leg. This one is on the leg stump. He's turning it for 1. He should be back for 2. Windward's move up to 49 for 2. So Lozano continues to add to his tally. He's on 28. Windwards need another 241 before they start scoring. They have lost 2 wickets in the process. This one again, Salazar's punching it 2 covers. He's gone for 1. Big figure of Joshua James chases that ball to the fence. 2 more runs to Salazano. 30.
Yeah, 50 runs coming up as well for the Windward Islands. A bit shorter in length. He's able to get up on his toes and just punch it to that vacant cover area to pick up 2 more. So 8 runs coming from this over so far. And Salazano is up into the 30s.
Extended run here by these 2 fast bowlers, Phillips and Seals. Seals have gotten 2 wickets. Phillips still searching for his first one. So that brings over number 12 to an end. So 12 overs have been completed here between these pacers. Seals have 2 for 16 and Phillip none for 34. Windward Islands are 51 for 2 in this their second innings here at Annesville. Current run rate of 4.25, pretty healthy run rate that is. And they need another 239 runs before they start scoring. That's their deficit. Phillips. So Kieran Katoy is on 4, and Salazano, he has 30 from 37. So immediately after that spell from Seals, you see a change of bowling.
Yeah, so Brian Charles, the off spinner, being introduced into the attack. We're coming up on a tea break as well. Brian Charles couldn't quite find his range in that first innings against the Windward Islands Volcanoes. Starts a bit short and wide. Can't find the gap on that occasion, Kieran Katoy. Yeah, so Brian Charles, he bowled 3 overs, no maidens, 18 runs, no wickets in that first innings. Just a bit too short so far. None of the off spinners in this match has been able to be successful. Lee John as well. This one, he finds the gap that time. The fielder gives chase. Just gets into the boundary now. So on that occasion, a short and wide delivery. Kieran Katoy finds the gap to pick up his first boundary of the match. Yeah, so I was saying none of the off spinners so far in this match has been successful. It's been the leg spin of Yannick Carrier and the leg spin of Daryl Cyrus, who has picked up most wickets between them. Carry pair as well, the other spinner, left arm spinner for Trinidad and Tobago. But so far in this game, the off spinners have not found any success. Brian Charles, he'll be looking to change that. Fuller length that time, much better from Charles. Use of the feet. Just manages to pick up a single. I think he played that one into that man at short leg there. He gets a single. 5 runs coming from that first over of Brian Charles. Windward Islands Volcanoes, 56 for 2.
So we see 300s being scored by batters Cooper, Mohammed, and Hodge. 126, 117, and 103. And really a placid batting wicket here at Annesville playing field. Demonstrated here by the Trinidadian batters, getting a total of 456 all out. And now the Windward Islands Volcanoes are here struggling at 56 for 2 with a huge deficit of 234. Just some questions to be asked, a few things to really ponder here when it comes to the batting of the Windward Islanders. And you ask whether it is the same wicket we are playing on, what is happening. Trinidad batted nicely, calmly, no risk. And all of a sudden, it seems like it's a different wicket here for the Windward Islanders. But cricket is cricket. When you have skills, you have to use them and you have to adapt to situations and circumstances. And I think the Windward Island batters have not done that very well. Kieran Katoy is on strike. He's on 9 from 16, and Solozano is with him. Pierre?
Yeah. Carry pair has been introduced. This should be the last over before that tea break, I believe. And if you remember in the first innings, he picked up that wicket of Kieran Katoy, a reluctance from Kieran Katoy to come on the front foot, which ended up saw him playing one on the back foot, but it was edged to Joshua De Silva, and right away we see him again playing on the back foot to Carry pair. So just that reluctance from Kieran Katoy throughout his knock so far to come on the front foot has really accounted for his wicket in 2 innings so far.
Well, there's a loud appeal. He's out. You just spoke of it. And it plays on the minds of the batters. It plays on the individuals. And immediately, as I said, Trinidad and Tobago, they have long memories like elephants. Kieran Katoy goes back to the pavilion, caught or plumbed LBW.
Yeah, the initial movement, yes, he tried to come forward, but you saw that he was going back once more. Again, caught on the crease. Kieran Katoy is LBW there. Really good delivery, and Carrie Pair gets his man once more. And again, another wicket falls just before a break for the Windward Islands.
Well, it is all unfolding here at Annesville playing field. Just before the tea break here, Windward Islands have just lost wicket number 3. They are 56 for 3 with 234 runs still to get here at Annesville in this day-night encounter between Trinidad and Tobago Red Force and Windward Islands Volcanoes. We'll be back to bring you more coverage here in this exciting game.
Welcome back. Hello to all the viewers out there, and welcome back to this post-tea session here on this third day of this Cricket West Indies 4-day championship and day-night encounter between Windward Islands Volcanoes and the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force. Windward Islands Volcanoes in some trouble. They are behind by 234 runs and they have lost 3 wickets for 56 runs. A wicket of Kiran Katoy falling just before that tea break. So far, dismissed batters are Kavem Hodge. He was dismissed for 8 of 18 balls of the bowling of Seals, called Charles in the slip. Stefan Pascal, he was bowled by Seals, 8 of 7 deliveries, and Kiran Katoy, that man just before tea, he was LBW by Kari Pay, who was bowled 3 deliveries in his first over, accounted for that wicket of Kiran Katoy. Sunil Ambris, the skipper, joins Jeremy Salazano in the middle, and I am joined by Osnet Kato. Good afternoon to you, Osnet.
Good afternoon to you, Stacey. Good afternoon to our viewers.
So Sunil Ambris off the mark, not in a convincing fashion, I must say, but off the mark nonetheless.
Well, we've reached that critical junction in the game. Spoke about it earlier in terms of after that initial spell by the seamers, it's now a different challenge for the Windward Island Volcano batsmen. The challenge in the form of the spinners who accounted for 8 of the 10 wickets in the first innings.
And that man pair picking up 4 of those wickets as well. So Salazano, who has been in there, has seen the destruction from the other end. He's 30 of 38 deliveries. Gets behind it to end the over, a wicket from it and a single. Windward Islands Volcanoes 57 for 3.
57 for 3, Windward Island Volcanoes in the second innings. Not the best of starts, not the type of starts that you would need if you are close to 300 runs behind on first innings, 290 in this case. If you look at the run rate as well, 4.07 is something that we have seen in the 3 innings. In fact, the 4 innings that we have seen from the Windward Islands in this tournament so far, they have been able to score rather quickly with a run rate of over 4 runs per over. But the fact that they have lost wickets so consistently, it means that they're not able to exert any prolonged pressure on the opposition. And that has accounted for their defeat in the last game and what is looking to be a very difficult road ahead in the remainder of this game.
Yeah, certainly the approach has been poor from a Windward Islands perspective. Well, Brian Charles has the ball in hand now. He's bowling to Ambris. He's been a bit short to start in his spell, Brian Charles. Hasn't quite found his range in this match so far with ball in hand. Looks to sweep it and appeal, but that looks to be heading down leg.
It's a conversation we had off air in terms of whether the captain would persist with Brian Charles. We saw him bowl 1 over before the tea break. We were assessing at what point we'll see Carrier.
Goes for a big one. Manages to sweep it to that vacant area under the mid-wicket fence. So some aggression being showed here by Captain Sunil Ambris, and he picks up a boundary.
Yes, a good shot from Ambris. Bit of risk as well. It was actually on his stumps. Swept it. The only thing he had in his advantage on that occasion perhaps was the fact that he's an off spinner coming back into him. So that shot was always on. So positive intent from the start from the captain. It has been positive intent from the Windward Islands, as a matter of fact. Mentioned that scoring rate of 4.21 runs per over. And if you look at Solozano, he's quite uncharacteristic in terms of scoring 30 from 39.
Reinforcement now on that mid-wicket fence. Walks it to the onside, so Jason Mohammed is now employed on that mid-wicket boundary after that shot by Ambris. Sweeps it again. But Jaden Seals is there to offer a protection, so there'll just be a single. So we continue to see Brian Charles struggle to find rhythm in his bowling with his line and his lengths.
We spoke about it. Had just 3 overs in the first innings for 18 runs, so it was not the most economical and definitely didn't threaten the Windward Island batsman to any extent. Once again, in the second innings, he's struggling for a bit of control.
It's a better delivery to end the over that time. Still could look to be a bit fuller though. 5 runs coming from that over. Windward Islands Volcanoes 62 for 3.
62 for 3 in the second innings. Still trailed by a mammoth 228 runs. It's a lot of runs to overhaul before you start to score for yourself, as they would say. But it's an opportunity, as we mentioned. We keep saying this. It's an opportunity for some of these batsmen who have not scored heavily so far in the tournament, 4 innings in, to just spend some time in the middle and actually get some runs, get used to the conditions, get used to scoring big. Still very good batting conditions.
Bit of weight off. I don't know if you picked that up just now, Osnet Kato, but you saw Jaden Seals run all the way up to umpire Dighton Butler just to give him a tap on the hand and a fist bump. Probably maybe he looked back at the replay and perhaps saw that delivery was probably pitched outside the off stump. One is just speculating outside the line. Sorry, wasn't pitched in line rather. So we did see that from the young man just going up to Butler, and I'm just speculating here, but perhaps that's the reason why he ran all the way from where he was on the square leg boundary, and you see he's employed now at mid-off for the right-handed batter. Maybe perhaps just to let the umpire know he saw the replay and, just letting him know he did a good job on that umpire decision.
Well, it's something I said at the time. I had no doubt that it was going on to hit the stumps. The only doubt I had at that moment was whether or not it pitched in line. And to me, it just looked like it pitched just outside the off stump. It was not a delivery swinging back into the left-hander. It was a delivery going across him. So it's good to see that gesture from Jaden Seals. If it is, that is what was said.
Indeed. So pair to Ambrose. Sometimes you wish you can have these players mic'd up on the field just to, hear what is happening down there. But I'm just guessing because he ran all the way from his position at square leg where he was employed to just have that word with the umpire. Witt offered and accepted gleefully. He picks up another boundary, Sunil Ambrose, and he's on the match, continuing to show his aggression to the spinners.
It's a shot he attempted earlier on in the over without any sort of success. But on this occasion, offered a bit of whiff once again, went back and just got it past the man there at backward point and into the third man boundary for 4. So good positive intent from Captain Ambrose. It's a very good play of spin, and I'm sure that he will want to pose some sort of counter threat to the Trinidad and Tobago bowlers this afternoon.
Yeah, and he was out caught. Well, that's the end of the over, 4 runs coming from it, 66 for 3. But he was out caught by Joshua James, a brilliant catch by him, bowled by Yannick Carrier. And he was giving himself time in this innings. He scored 9 deliveries out of 36 before getting dismissed off the 37th delivery. And then all of a sudden we saw that wild swing come out off the bat of Sunil Ambrose, which accounted for his wicket. And we all agreed perhaps if he had tried to play with the spin, would have seen him collecting a boundary maybe over to the cover area. Instead, he opted to go straighter, which accounted for his dismissal. So Brian Charles to continue to Salazano.
Captain De Silva here delaying the introduction of Carrier, quite surprisingly.
Yeah, and it might be tempting to go to Carrier, as he was one of your chief wicket takers in the first innings. But I think it's also important for him. He has more games in the competition, Brian Charles, to come. Brian Charles is a regular feature in this team. And they'll want him, as this one has played away to the... Just pulls it in there, Jaden Seals. This one is played in between that vacant area in that deep third area, I beg your pardon, and he picks up 3. But I was just saying on Brian Charles, it's important that he finds his range, because they'll be needing him at the back end of the tournament. They'll need him to find his range and get into some bowling rhythm going into the rest of the tournament.
Agreed. As we're looking at Carrier there at mid-off, deepish mid-off, going through his paces. So I'm sure that it will not be too long before his introduction.
Yeah, certainly not. And they haven't gone to Joshua James as well. He bowled quite a miserly spell in that first innings. Reliable effort from him. Picked up a wicket of Jeremy Salazano as well in that first innings.
It's a slight change. That man, Joshua James, you just mentioned, just coming in a few yards from the boundary.
Walks that one to fine leg. I'm not too sure what will be the signal. Dead ball. I suspected as much. He didn't play a shot, but I just wanted to wait to see what the umpire was going to say. So rightly so, dead ball signal, as no shot was offered up. But that change in the field, just bringing Joshua James slightly in the circle. It's the position he was in when he caught Sunil Ambris. He wasn't all the way back on the boundary. He was about there where he is standing now, just halfway off the boundary. So maybe the skipper, the Silver, wants to tempt Sunil Ambris to try and go down the ground again and maybe mistiming it. So 3 runs coming from that over. Windward Islands Volcanoes 69 for 3.
They continue to build a partnership here, these two very experienced campaigners for the Windward Island Volcanoes. They'll be hoping that they can continue to build, frustrate the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force bowlers and fielders alike, and hopefully provide some sort of entertainment to the crowd that is gathered here and the crowd to come at some point this afternoon.
Well, entertainment in what form? As they're scoring at a run rate of 4 and they're losing regular wickets. So fair to say it's been quite entertaining so far. But the Windward Islands, they need to find a way to bat more time, spend more time in the middle. This partnership is very important if they are to do that. 2 senior men out there. Jeremy Salazano already has a start. Captain Sunil Ambris is there as well. So 2 men around the batting helmet. One at Sealy Point. The other employed at short leg. So pair has been quite good for Trinidad and Tobago so far.
We mentioned that he's quite experienced at this level. Carry pair traditionally known for his white ball exploits. What we've seen from him is he's a clever operator, professional, uses the crease quite well, bowls well versus both the right-handers and the left-handers. We saw that in the first innings. So he's definitely going to be a big threat for the Windward Islands in terms of their pursuit of this total made by the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force.
Yeah, well, last year he picked up 26 wickets. In that first encounter versus combined campuses and colleges, he picked up 9 wickets, 7 in the second innings. You see Brian Charles there at the top, picked up most wickets for Trinidad and Tobago last year with 31. picked up 2 wickets in that game against combined campuses and colleges, Brian Charles. So he is an important member of this squad, and it's also important that he gets into his bowling rhythm, seeing the amount of wickets that he picked up for them last year. So you can imagine if they have all 3 of their spinners in good bowling form, Trinidad and Tobago. Some width offered there. Just gets on the back foot and looks to punch it to the offside. A maiden over. Windward Islands Volcanoes, 69 for 3.
Another tight over there from Carriper, something that we have grown accustomed to from him. Solozano looking to force that last delivery through the offside. I think that's exactly what Carriper will be hoping from him, playing against his spin or whatever spin is there. Doesn't seem to be excessive tone on the wicket. At least not so far from the Trinidad and Tobago spinners in this second innings. As we look at Brian Charles continuing operations from the Beckwith end.
Just waited on that one nicely. Sunil Ambris, it won't get to the boundary. But well played by him to pick up 2 more.
He's a good player of spin, Sunil Ambris. Uses the crease quite well. I've seen him attempted a sweep shot against Brian Charles so far with success. On that occasion, being offered a bit of whiff outside the off stump. Just going back and using the crease and getting that one on the offside behind square. So good batting from him.
Sweeps it. Loud appeal. Turn down. He's been flirting with danger playing that sweep shot on 2 occasions. He's missed. Luckily for him, that one just looks like it was sliding down.
It's a shot that he likes. And we mentioned that he'll be able to play it a bit easier against the off spin of Brian Charles. But on that occasion, a bit full as well, that delivery, which made it a bit more difficult to execute.
That signature aggressive prod on the front foot to the spinners. I haven't seen him got dismissed in that fashion. I've heard a few of the commentators, you yourself spoke about it, the way he presses on that front foot in such an aggressive manner to the spinners. But his hands and his eye saves him. He gets in line quickly. Yes, it's an aggressive prod, but he gets his bat down in the position, the correct position really. So quick hands from him and good eyes as well.
I think the challenge in terms of that approach will be if the wicket is offering a bit of tone, a bit of bounce, then those aggressive prods, as you say, they become a bit more risky.
So 2 runs coming from that over, 71 for 3.
Windward Islands continue to march on. Not sure march is the correct word in this case, but they're fighting on, these two. Ambris there, 12 off 21 deliveries. Solozano, he's been there from the start, had to endure a very testing opening spell from the Trinidad and Tobago Seamers, but he's there on 33. He'll be hoping to capitalize on this start.
What I can see in terms of the difference between the 2 teams when they bat, Windward Islands, they don't seem to have a plan in terms of how they want to approach their batting innings. You see the difference with Trinidad and Tobago. There's a unified plan in terms of how they want to go and play and score runs on the surface.
This one walked down to Joshua James on a fine leg boundary for a single. Just losing his line there, Carriper against the left-handed Solozano. Brings Ambris into strike. Not a good day for cricket in terms of the weather. No sign of rain at this time. As we see Captain the silver marshal his troops.
And going back to what I was saying, if we look at Trinidad and Tobago innings, they are prepared to respect the good deliveries for a longer period of time. And anything innocuous, anything that they know that they can score off of, that is when they decide, hey, I'm going to take my chance here. You know, Windward Islands batters so far in both innings have been a lot more risky in terms of their stroke play.
Ambrose once again favouring that cut shot. Has to be careful, really. Can repair. He doesn't turn the ball a great deal. What he does, uses angles quite well. Has that arm ball that he utilizes as well. So Ambrose has to be careful whenever he's going back for that cut shot. We saw that last delivery. The fielders wrongly bat with their hands on their heads, saying to me that perhaps he played it off the stumps. But going back to what you said in terms of the Trinidad and Tobago batsmen, it's clear to see that their main emphasis was to build partnerships. And even though they sacrifice the scoring rate at times, it was always a matter of spending time at the crease. Because they knew that they were good enough, as that one is a good delivery, turning past the outside edge. It's a good end to the over. And at the end of it, Windward Island Volcanoes in their second innings, they are 72 for the loss of 3. So they knew at the end of the day that the batsmen, they are good enough to take advantage of loose deliveries that at some point would have been served up. So I would say that they played high percentage cricket in terms of just being watchful, being in control of the situation. And that was evident in the fact that they were able to bat for such a long period of time and accumulate so many runs.
Certainly, and you go back to that first innings, the only batter that showed that measure of control, that measure of watchfulness, as you mentioned, was Kavem Hodge, who went on to score 100. So if maybe 2 or 3 of the batters had a similar template, Windward Islands perhaps could have found themselves in a different position. Right now, they are 218 runs behind, and they've already lost 3 wickets.
And what is even more worrying from a Windward Islands perspective is the fact that they had won the toss and elected to bat first. So you know for sure that whenever you're winning the toss, batting first in the longer version of the game, you have to play out the first over. You have to manipulate the bowling in such a way as this one is a loud appeal. Once again, umpire Butler unmoved. As we look at the replay, that's heading down the leg side. So it's always a matter of getting through the first hour. Which team is able to settle first, adapt first to the conditions, then it means that you're able to give a foundation for your innings, and batsmen will feel a bit more at ease coming in later on in the innings. Unfortunately for the Windward Islands, that never materialized.
Yes, certainly. So a lot for them to contemplate for the rest of this match as they're still batting and the rest of the tournament ahead. So a maiden over there from Brian Charles. Windward Islands Volcanoes remain on 72 for 3.
Better over from Charles, bowling against the left-handed Solozano. Indicated, utilized some better lengths on that occasion. But still 218 runs behind the Windward Islands. Looking a long distance away. They just have to take it in increments, really. Can't be too overly consumed with such a large total in your mind. As a batsman, you just have to bat. Play normal cricket, play high percentage cricket, and hope for the best.
You also look at the Windward Islands batting so far in this innings. Jaden Seals was able to pick up Stefan Pascal again. Similar length delivery. Carrie Pear was able to pick up Kiran Katoy again. So they haven't learned from what transpired in the first innings. It's safe to say the Trinidad and Tobago bowlers, they remembered well, used their same plan, brought it into action, and it's been successful for them so far. Didn't need to change a lot.
Agreed.
It's been a quiet period so far for both teams. Not a lot happening off the surface for the spinners. Not a lot of runs scored.
Well, I'll tell you, it's a type of quiet period that the Windward Island batsmen need. They have been quite frenetic so far in the game. So maybe this type of moment really is one that they need in terms of settling down the game and just keeping the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force bowlers at bay.
Yeah, I was about to add, I don't think they'll mind this quiet period. Just their batters having a more measured approach. Partnership 16 of 50 deliveries.
By Crawford on that occasion having a word with Sonny Lambers, not to show the nature of that conversation.
So back-to-back maidens now. Windward Islands batters batting more circumspectly. 72 for 3. Salazano there, 34 off 57, and Ambris, who has just joined him, is 12 off 31. Wicket taker so far for Trinidad and Tobago. Jaden Seals, 2 for 16 off 6 overs, and Carrie Pear, 1 for 6 off his 5.
You mentioned it's a critical junction in the game. Both of these, two of the more experienced players in this Windward Islands setup. Not a lot left to come, really. The likes of Descartes, Benjamin, these are players who are struggling for runs as well. So it really is a big ask for these two. It's just a matter of getting some sort of respectability to the total. And as we always say, cricket is a game of glorious uncertainties. So you just never know. Just about playing the game the right way. And the right way for the Windward Islands at this point in time is just forming some sort of partnership here to get their innings back on track. Brian Charles slowly getting into his own. Spoke about the fact that he has struggled so far in this match. Into his 6th over, none for 15, so better figures this time around. Only completing 3 overs in the first innings. So Captain De Silva just showing a bit of faith in him.
Yes, indeed so. And we already mentioned none of the off spinners so far in this match have been able to pick up a wicket. So Brian Charles, he finishes another maiden over, so 3 on the trot now. Windward Islands Volcanoes 72 for 3. So just to give you some updates in the other matches that's being played in this Cricket West Indies 4-day championship. Guyana Happy Eagles versus Combined Campuses and Colleges. Combined Campuses and Colleges, they were dismissed for 375. Guyana Happy Eagles, in reply, they've been dismissed for 343. In that match, Leeward Islands Hurricanes versus Jamaica Scorpions. So I'll continue after this delivery from Pear. So a single taken after a very long time. Yes, so Jamaica Scorpions, they batted first. They were dismissed for 320. Leeward Islands Hurricanes, in reply, got a lead of 15 runs. They were bowled out for 335. And Jamaica Scorpions, they're currently 160 for 7. And in the other day-night encounter, Barbados Pride, 581 for 9 declared. And West Indies Academy, they were bowled out for 239, and they are currently batting again. They are 26 for 1. Was an inside edge there, almost going back onto his stump. Salozano.
It's a bit of turn on that occasion from Carriper. Back into the left-hander, going for that big drive. We mentioned previously that Solozano seemed to be quite prepared to go through the offside. And I'm sure that Carriper wouldn't mind that at all. With the delivery turning back into the left-hander is always going to keep him interested. Quite interesting in terms of that Guyana Happy Eagles game.
I was about to mention, I think a lot of teams will be keeping their eyes on that match.
They actually mounted somewhat of a recovery here. At one point they were struggling. But it just goes to show that they have a winner's mentality, as this one is walked down to a fine leg region. Carrier comes around, limits the batsman to 2 runs. So 2 more added to the total. 76 for 3. Yes, I can recall them struggling at one point in time.
Yeah, they were 190 for 7. If I can recall correctly. I think I saw that score this morning. But they had a bit of some rain around. Tevin Imlak scored 100 in that game, so another 100 has been scored in this 4-day championship.
Well, he will do his reputation no harm, having been featured in the recent Test series. It's good to see him getting some runs right away. It's the end of another over. 2 runs coming from it. Windward Island Volcanoes in their second innings here at the Arnorsville Sporting Complex. Facing a deficit of 290. They are 76 for 3. Solozano, he's there on 35. And Captain Sonny Lambris, he's there on 15 from 35 deliveries. So Brian Charles it is to continue operations from the Beckway end into his 7th over. Giving this one a bit of flight. Haven't seen a lot of tone from him. As we mentioned, it hasn't been a successful outing so far for the off spinners, as this one again, Solozano trying to force that one through the offside. So just losing a bit of fluency. Solozano started very well, quite aggressive. Just in the last couple of overs, just really trying to force the issue, really. Trying to go through the offside. It's Captain Ambrose coming down to have a word with him. Another flighted delivery, working it to Yannick Carrier there at mid-on. There's no run. As we
Yeah.
look at the field, there's a man at slip, man at gully, short leg, backward point, cover extra, cover mid-off. And there's a man on the sweep out there at deep backward square. So it's a predominantly offside field with the off-spinner ball into the left-handed Solizano.
Yeah, and it's also been a good over so far from Brian Charles. He's getting better the more overs he bowls, which is expected. A man of his success, picking up 31 wickets in last year's tournament for Trinidad and Tobago Red Force. He's been a lot fuller in this over to Solizano. That occasion, just a bit too full. He gets to work it to the onside to pick up a single. Just a single from that over. 77 now for 3.
These two batsmen continue to build for the Windward Island Volcanoes. Having lost those 3 wickets initially, there was always going to be a situation where a partnership is needed. Still in its infancy stages, this partnership, 21 runs so far. But they'll be happy that they've been able to curtail the slide somewhat in terms of the loss of wickets. But as we mentioned, there's still a lot of time in this game. We still have an entire day tomorrow along with what is left of today. It's carry pair once again to continue. Solizano working at one. Can't get it past that man there at short leg. Cooper. This one a bit flatter. Goes back. Solizano. This one again, he's looking to force through the offside. Mention it's a bit of a risk for Solizano. I'm sure perhaps that's what Captain Ambrose is saying to him. Just be mindful of that delivery coming back into the left-hander. As we're looking at Carrier there at a backward point region, warm-up session becoming more evident. This one is caught. So just as I was mentioning, Stacey, that delivery coming back into the left-hander can pose some difficulties. We've seen him trying to force that delivery through the offside, which in theory he's playing against the spin. Captain Ambrose speaking to him the delivery before, as we look at the replay, it's a rather full-length delivery. It's also outside the off stump. And a very good catch there at slip. So the 4th wicket goes, and Windward Island Volcanoes, they have dug themselves deeper into trouble here at the Annesville Sporting Complex. It's now 77 for the loss of 4.
Yeah, well planned there from Carrier and Trinidad and Tobago Red Force, but you must say that shot was not needed at that time. Solizano looking to be aggressive, looking to play that shot from that length. He would have been better off just coming forward and sort of smothering whatever spin was on offer, which is hardly any. Probably would not have seen that delivery turning back in sharply as we've seen from Daryl Cyrus when he bowled. Because Carrier, he doesn't really turn the ball as we have observed a lot. But Solizano fall into the trap on that occasion. It almost feels as if it was sort of expected that he was going to get caught in slip. You saw the way he played the seamers, especially Anderson Phillip when he bowled to him. That delivery just outside the off stump. He continued to play at it. Eventually, he edges one that time off the spin bowling of Carrier. So Solizano, who looks set, another Windward Island batter getting a start and not carrying on. A trend we've seen from them throughout the 2 matches so far.
Well, I'll tell you what, Stacey, we have actually observed the batting plans of the Trinidad and Tobago team. We applauded them in terms of how they went about batting as a batting unit. But what we can see also in terms of their bowling, they seem to have these preconceived plans to each of these Windward Island batsmen, and it's all about execution. And so far, we have seen very good execution from all of the bowlers so far.
Yeah, execution, consistency, deliberating their plans so far. Trinidad and Tobago Red Force and Windward Islands batters, they really have no answer to what has been going on out there. On Descartes now. And they already have a man placed at that long on boundary. It's a favorite area of his, and he's been dismissed in this match so far there. It's an area that he looks to target and hit sixes off the spin, and right away, Jaden Seals is in that position.
Carry pair once again, just holding around that half stump line, coming back into the left-handers. It's a line we've seen him utilize against Kieran Katoy, Jeremy Solizano, and another left-hander in the form of Descartes again being tested on that particular line.
A Descartes not falling into the trap, getting fully forward and keeping it out. So a wicket in that over, Windward Islands Volcanoes, a 77 for 4.
The end of a successful over there from Carry pair. Figures now 7 overs, 3 remainers, 2 for 10. So not only has he been quite miserly in his approach, but he has offered wickets to his captain as well. That run rate of the Windward Island Volcanoes really plummeting at this time, down to 2.96. A few overs ago, we mentioned that they were scoring quite quickly. But a couple of tight overs strung together between these two have really caused them to really rethink their approach. As Brian Charles continues in this spell, and we're going to have the introduction of Kenroy Martin here in the commentary box. Good afternoon to you, Kenroy. I trust that you enjoyed your tea break.
Took a stroll around the ground to hear the comments of the spectators here. It's not favorable. And Windward's not in a favorable position here as Ambrose opens the face and runs that down to third man for another single. Things were looking a little bit better with Solozano and Ambrose at the crease until the dismissal of Solozano. Things looking a little bit dismal for the Windward Islands here at 78 for 4.
They're struggling once again with Windward Island Volcanoes. Struggling to put any sort of consistent pressure on the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force team. We saw that in their bowling effort, and we are now seeing it here a second time around in terms of their batting.
Well, as mentioned before, Trinidad and Tobago, they are bowling to a plan. They are bowling to what they have discussed, and it's working for them. It is all up to the batters now to counteract, and they have not done a very good job of doing so. The spinners has been very patient. They are a little bit different to the Windward Islands spinners. You could see that they have been at this for a pretty long time. As I said, the experience between the two teams are vastly different. From just looking at the amount of games being played by individuals, time spent at the crease, level of cricket played, Trinidad and Tobago has outweighed the Windward Islands in so many ways, in so many forms. But that doesn't negate or take away the responsibility of players at this level. As the ball goes up past the Scott bat from Charles into the gloves of the wicketkeeper, the skipper. Windward Islands still at 78 for 4. Captain Sonal Ambrose on 16. They trail by 212 runs.
I don't know what else you were doing during that break, Kenroy. I don't know if you were looking at clips of the great man himself. But this is Brian Charles we have here bowling. Very good over there. Just squaring up the scat on that occasion. perhaps would have been better served to be on the front foot to that particular delivery. So it's the end of another over. 27 up completed, 78 for 4. Still trailed by a massive 212 runs. I'm not sure how often you would have been in this particular position, Kenroy, in terms of the Windward Islands. But as a batsman, what would be going through your mind at this time? What would be your plan for the next half an hour to an hour, or even towards the end of the day's play?
Well, cricket is played in sessions, really. And every session, you have to come out with a plan. You have to try and negate the plans of the opposition. And here, at this time, you really have to try and get on top of the bowling. Try and bat as long as possible. Score as much runs as possible. Every opportunity that presented itself, you have to pounce on it. Bad deliveries, dispatch them. I mean, don't take the undue risk. Occupy the crease as long as possible, but you must remain positive. There's too much time remaining in this game for you to literally lock up shop. There's a loud appeal. Sonal Amris goes LBW. We spoke about it. He's not turning the balls. Amris went across that one, looking to turn it mid-on or mid-wicket, and he missed it completely. And Windward Islands have lost wicket number 5. They are 78 for 5.
Yes, another wicket there for Carey Pair. This delivery pitching, as you mentioned, Ambrose playing across the line to some extent. And on that occasion, umpire Crawford are judging that one to be crashing into the leg stump. So it's another wicket for the Windward Islands and another wicket for Carey Pair. He's on to 3 for 10. So he's really having a very good match. 7 wickets so far in this game. And the Windward Islands, they continue to crumble really. And disappointment here from the small gathering that we have in terms of persons coming out to see this game on a Friday afternoon and supporting the local team. But the Trinidad and Tobago team, they'll be pleased with their progress so far. Windward Island Volcanoes 78 for 5.
Well, if I'm to really make a comparison in respect of these two teams, I would say it's a heavyweight boxing match for Trinidad and Tobago against a welterweight Volcanoes team, really. They have not played in the past couple of years properly against Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago is very comfortable playing against Volcanoes.
Let's look at that replay again, Kenroy, sorry. It's a delivery, I think, coming back into the right-handed Ambrose. He played across it, yes. Maybe that worked against him to some extent because, in my estimation, perhaps he should feel a bit unlucky on that occasion. That delivery seemed to have been angled in to him. He had a good stride forward as well. So still had a distance to go in terms of that delivery. But in the eyes of umpire Crawford, who is the most important man in the middle, he adjudged it to be LBW. So another wicket for Carey Pair and Trinidad and Tobago. It brings Jervin Benjamin to the crease. Another player who is struggling for runs so far in this tournament. A lot of pressure on him. And so right away we are seeing the Trinidad and Tobago crowding him in the form of a slip and a man there at short leg.
Well, pressure burst pipe. Old saying, and the pipe of the Windward Islanders are leaking wickets, not score, not getting the runs, not giving what the people are asking for. This one is keeping low, and Benjamin, not a tall lad at all, didn't have any difficulty getting back onto that one. But the man at slip did a very good job in knocking that down. So, 4 signs of low bounce on this wicket so far. I've not seen it, but the implementation of a second slip. Carey Pair continues to tarry here for Trinidad. It's in the outer portion of that bat and squeezing past that said second slip that was implemented. He gets off the mark. So 2 new batters at the crease, and immediately the pressure has been put on these batters with the in-close fieldsmen. So they have to go about their duties diligently and smart.
Can I have a question? Knowing that you're a left-hander as we look at this delivery from Pair again, I know you were a very talented left-hander back in the day, that is. I'm not sure about your current status.
Still remains, you know. Still remains.
But what we have seen is Carey Pair seem to be causing a lot of problems for these left-handers for the Windward Island Volcanoes. Being a left-hander yourself and seeing the way Carey Pair is bowling, how would you have gone about playing against him?
I think what is happening is that carry pair is not a big turn of the delivery of the ball. So what the players are doing, they're launching onto the front foot. You have to basically peep, as we normally used to say, peep him. Wait until that ball is over flighted, wait until that ball is pitched just on the off stump. Try and keep a straight bat with carry pair. Nibble him off, take the one, the twos, push the ball mid-on, mid-off. And when he bowls a bad delivery, counter. And these are the things that you have to do. When you have a good bowler, once he is loose, you have to cash in on those bad deliveries. We have not seen that from the Windies Islands batters. They have put themselves under pressure all the time, and Pierre just consistently bowl at them, and bowl straight. For instance, Ambrice, a straight delivery, close your face of the bat, automatically the bat becomes smaller. If you present the full face, you have a better opportunity of playing the ball. Struck on the pad, umpire decides that's out.
So it's Brian Charles to continue operations from this Tobacco end, and he's beating him again outside the off stump. Second time we've seen that. This time, Benjamin was searching for runs. When you're searching for runs, you tend to play at everything.
Yeah. Well, Benjamin hoping to find some runs somewhere on this piece of this acre of land here at Arnisville. This real estate.
But quite interestingly, we haven't seen Yannick Carriers yet. And with 5 wickets down, you'll get to think that there's worse to come for the Windward Islands, because he was the chief destroyer in the first innings.
As I said, Trinidad and Tobago is playing with a plan. They play into a plan. Ball is reasonably still new. And I think they have confidence in Charles bowling the newer ball and Carrier. Carrier is on the other end. Carrier is, in my opinion, is more of a lower order bowler. Somebody who will bowl at lower order and cause trouble. As another style with appeal goes up there. So you have seen some shots coming from the batters. But I think that really the application, the skills being shown by these batters from Windies Islands left much to be desired. Again, that ball goes past the bat. It is not spinning, it's just pitching and going on now. So what am I thinking about here as a batsman? It is not spinning, just going across. He's coming around the wicket. It just goes on with the arm.
It's the end of a tidy over there from Brian Charles. Just 1 run coming from it. It's 80 for 5, Windward Islands in their second innings.
Yeah, we thought that the performance against Jamaica was bad. This one is dismal from the Volcanoes. This one is really dismal. And you have to sit and wonder what is happening. What is happening within the camp? Your first 5 batters not being able to score runs. You can't expect the middle order and the lower order to take you through a tournament. You must have the bulk of the runs being scored by your top order. And Trinidad have shown that. Their top order have scored heavily. Their frontline bowlers have picked up wickets. And we have not seen those sort of things coming from a Windies Islands perspective.
So Carry pair. Not sure the captain can get the ball from his hands for the remainder of the evening, as this one is hedging once again. Well, I asked the question the last over in terms of what is it in terms of the challenge that is currently being posed by Carry pair that these left-handers are finding so difficult to maneuver, because we've seen all of the left-handers so far for the Windward Islands struggle against Carry pair. This one is coming back into left-handed Benjamin. Umpire Crawford on this occasion not answering in the affirmative for the Trinidad and Tobago team, but he's definitely found his range against the left-handers, and quite traditionally you will find that left-arm spinners, they might struggle or they may not have a preference to bowl against the left-handers, but that's not something we're seeing here from Carry pair.
Straight and quicker delivery goes past Benjamin's bat. It goes past the wicket keeper as well. Didn't touch anything. I think we'll get a signal from the umpire by a quicker delivery from Carry pair. He's a smart bowler. he bowls with some guile. He's bowled with some a different attitude when it comes to bowling. He's pretty smart. He's crafty. Let me say that. He's a crafty bowler, Carey Paye. And he uses his craft to the best of his ability. And he outsmarts batsmen. So you have to beat him at his game. He's swinging. He's out. As I said it before, he's crafty. He bowled a quicker delivery outside the house. Some beat Benjamin, beat the wicket keeper. Went past, picked up two. He bowled a slower delivery. Benjamin played it. And then he bowled a quicker delivery. Benjamin went for that pull. That ball, that pitch just on a good length. It slides. So he had no time at all to play it. Chucking him right in front of the stumps. Out goes Benjamin. The index finger off. The umpire goes up. Windward Islands, 82 for 6. Oh my God. Fat lady singing. Fat lady singing.
They continue to struggle here at the Windward Island Volcanoes, and on that occasion again, I'm struggling to find the reasoning behind the shot. You're 82 for 5. You're struggling. You're looking to build somewhat of a partnership. And there he was again, Benjamin, going across the line. Really no doubt about that decision this time around. That will be crashing into the middle stump quite easily.
It's small.
But Carey Paye, as you mentioned, just the changes of pace, the craftiness, as you said, is really causing a problem for the Windward Island Volcanoes here this afternoon. More so the left-handers that we are seeing in the lineup. And 8.4 overs, 3 minutes, 4 for 11. So he's loving conditions here at the Annesville Sporting Complex. And Windward Island Volcanoes, they've sunk deeper into problems here at Annesville. 82 for 6. They're still trailing by 208 runs as we see the youngster in the form of Lee John making his debut in this innings as well. Not the best of conditions or environment for him to come into in such a pressure situation.
This is a tough time to come in at the crease, really, with your team 82 for 6, and you were bowled out for 166 prior, and you have a deficit of 208. It is not the best time to come in, but he has to be there. His team is in trouble. He has to prove himself. He has to prove his worth here. But Carey Paye is having an excellent spell here for Trinidad and Tobago. 8.4 overs, 3 maidens, 11 runs, 4 wickets. He's looking for a fifer.
Well, if you're a betting man, you want to bet against him.
Oh, no. Probably may get it now. Oh, my God.
So Lee John, one of those under-19 youngsters we're seeing promoted to the senior team here, had a difficult day with the ball and didn't pick up any wickets. At times, he was quite economical. But this one again is a straight delivery and he's out. Umpire Crawford once again raising that dreaded finger. So 5 wickets for Carey Paye. 5-star general, you can call him here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's now 82 for the loss of 7.
I'm sorry to say it. The writing was on the wall. If the all your batters can't handle Carey Paye, I don't see Lee John handling him. And I said he may get his 5 wickets now. He did 2 deliveries after. Actually, 1 delivery after. Windward Islands 82 for 7. They have crumbled under the hands of spin bowling from Trinidad and Tobago on 2 occasions. Spinners got 4 and 4 in the first innings. Carey Paye has 5 in the second innings. What is happening to these batters?
So a lot happening here, Kenroy Martin, I must say. And while the players take a break, we're going to take a break here as well in the commentary box with Windward Islands 82 for 7.
Well, back here at Arnesville playing field as the Windward Islands are falling like 10 pins here. Oh my God, 82 for 7. A deficit of 208 runs. Carry pair, 9 overs, 4 maidens, 11 runs, 5 wickets. Chief destroyer in this the second innings. And really a dismal performance here by the Windward Islands Volcanoes again with bat. My God, what is happening here? Really disappointing showing here as Charles continued to bowl for Trinidad and Tobago. This one is outside the off stump, play and a miss into the wicket-keeper's glove. And here with me is no other than the lovely Stacey. And welcome back, Stacey.
Good afternoon to you, Ken Roy, and hello to all the viewers. Windward Islands in a precarious position, 82 for 7. They are behind by 208 runs. Both batters at the wicket yet to get off the mark.
Interesting times here. Interesting times indeed as Charles continue to spin webs around these batters from the Windward Islands. Really, it's only a matter of time here before shop is closed for the Windward Islands. No more shopping. Don't call the shopkeeper anymore. There's nothing else to be sold. 3 wickets to go, 82 runs, 7 down already. Descartes is here. He's swinging mightily through the onside. He connected. He hasn't moved. And it flew over the fence for 4. 1, 2, 3 bounce. So Descartes decides to take a different road, and to chart a different course. He's going to play some shots here.
Yeah, an aggressive shot there from Descartes, sweeping that one, deciding, hey, might as well take my chances. Gets off the mark with 4 runs.
Only time, Charles. This one is a quicker delivery. Descartes is punching it to the man at short extra cover there. 2 slips, backward point, cover, short extra cover, mid off, mid on, mid wicket, a short leg. Pressure on the Windward Islands batters. Descartes is on 4 from 16 deliveries. This one is a quicker delivery. Descartes just barely getting down his bat on that delivery. Smart bowling here by Charles. That brings you over to an end. 86 for 7. Here, Windward Islands struggling. The Volcanoes, I'm telling you, it's very dormant. You would be like to be living on one of those islands, Stacey, where the volcano is dormant. Dormant as what we have seen here from the Windward Islands.
We had an eruption a few years ago, Ken Roy.
Not that sort of eruption. They need to erupt like that.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
But that man carry pair, he's coming across. He's appearing as some sort of second innings hero with the ball in hand for Trinidad and Tobago. We mentioned he picked up 7 wickets in that second innings against combined campuses and colleges, and he already has 5 to his name.
Pierre continues to spin webs around these batters from the Windward Islands. Remember, this cricket is all about the franchise. Pierre around the wicket. Tossed it, delivery, turn to the onside. So Cyrus gets off the mark. That brings Descartes into strike. 87 for 7. Really, even a worse performance here in the second innings, Stacey. It is unbelievable. What is happening? It's happening. Windward Islands coming second in the last 2 editions of this West Indies 4 days tournament. Now really having a terrible start to the season. Batsmen are struggling. Bowlers struggling to find the length. He turns to the other side and a reverse sweep has been implemented. It goes past the ropes here for 4. So Descartes, as I said earlier, deciding to take a different route, and he has played 2 superb shots so far. 4 runs to him, 4 runs to the Windward Islands, 91 for 7, and he marches on to 8.
Well, he's finding a different method to approach the spinners, Descartes. So far in this tournament, he's only been dismissed by spinners. Not a reverse sweep, this time aerially. Not sure it will make its way to the fence. It doesn't. Charles pulls it up. When we mentioned he has been dismissed only by spinners so far in this Cricket West Indies 4-day championship.
He's going to take his chances. I don't disagree with him. The Windward Islands have come out and they have played defensive. They have lost the wicket through some really bad judgment. I think they have really misjudged these spinners, played across straight deliveries, getting hit in front of the stumps, not presenting the full face of the bat. So some technical errors. And Descartes has decided, listen me, I'm going to fight this thing. I'm going to fight fire with fire here. If it works for me, it works for me. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And I do understand that at this point in time.
Certainly some better assessment could have been done by the Windward Islands batters. This pair continues to Descartes, who's looking to be aggressive against him. But looking at the 5 wickets he's picked up so far, apart from that one from Salazano that was caught in the slip, he's kept the stump in play. All of the other dismissals have been LBW. So it says a lot about the areas that he's looking to bowl. So Windward Islands batters should have been more aware of that and look to keep out the straight delivery more often than not.
This one is a slower delivery, flighted outside the off stump. I said he's a man, he's smart, he's crafty, and he has bowled quick and fast through the others. He decided now to flight this one. It was pitch on the off stump, hit the rough, came back, and Descartes goes back, bowled by the man who has picked up 6 wickets so far. He has 6 for 18, and really Pierre is reaping havoc on this Windward Islands team.
Yeah, what a fantastic delivery. A spinner's dream delivery, really. That one beating him in between bat and pad, that narrow gap between bat and pad left there by Descartes. He came fully forward. And what a magical delivery there from... Wow, wonderful. Just look at the replay. Almost have no words. And he ran off in celebration. The best delivery he has bowled in this match so far. And Windward Islands reel in 93 for 8.
Well, somebody needs to cut the line. Fish is jogging. The Windward Islands out to sea. They are drowning. They are asking somebody to cut the line, cut the line. Unfortunately, there are only 2 persons who could do that now. They are 93 for 8. And really, Cyrus and Tyson, they are now partners. They are bowling partners just about an hour ago, hour or 2 ago. They are now batting partners. Wow, how the tides has turned here at Arnisville. Trinidad and Tobago reaping havoc. Carry Pierre, 10 overs, 4 mins, 18 runs, 6 wickets. Trinidad has played a very compact and professional game here against the Windward Islands Volcanoes, showing all the experience. Charles, it's a quicker delivery hitting the outer portion of the bat. Runs down to third man. Man from slip runs around and fields. And really, every ball that has been bowled, it seems like something is going to happen, Stacey.
Yeah, with the lower order batters in as well. Trinidad and Tobago fielders and bowlers, they expect every delivery to be filled with action. So Brian Charles continuing in his spell. 10 overs, 23 runs, no wickets so far. And he'd love to add a wicket to his tally, but it's been a badly lined delivery. And Tyson just swivels in the line there and just plays this one away for 4.
Well, that was a bad delivery down the leg side. First delivery to Tyson, and Tyson, as you say, just swiveled on his feet and pulled that down to fine leg into the fence for 4. Bad delivery and treated in accordance. Really, 98 for 4. And Charles continued to peg away here at Arnisville. This one is flighted and Tyson is giving it the kitchen sink. Picks up a single through mid-wicket. Another run to him.
Yeah, 8 wickets down, and Carrier hasn't been introduced into the attackers yet. He must be saying, I see him warming up there. Probably just giving a hint to Joshua De Silva.
He's sweeping there. It's Cyrus, not out says umpire Butler. Don't think that Carrier would be having that ball today. The way in which Pierre is bowling. For this Cyrus, full face of the bat. 99 for 8. 191 remaining. Deficit, that is. Good delivery. Just spinning back, and he came back and played it soft hands to backward point and pick up an easy single.
Yeah, 100 up as well for Windward Islands Volcanoes. 100 for 8. Trail by 191 runs, and the scoring rate for the Windward Islands Volcanoes across the 2 matches so far, it's never dropped below 3, but it's the rate at which they have been losing wickets as well. Wickets in a hurry, wickets in clusters. No sort of partnerships been formed, no partnerships of significance.
It's like
in both of the matches, really.
Look at that scorecard. It looks like the national lotteries. Single digits. This one is punched through covers. Lovely shot there by Tyson. It was shot by Pierre, and he wrapped back on the back foot, making things look rather easy here is Tyson. Into the fence for 4. He moves up now to 7.
Yeah, just need to tighten up that line there, Pierre. You saw the sort of movement it got away from Daryl Cyrus. A good bat from him there to get that into the boundary. But a lot of movement away from Cyrus on that occasion. So he looked to tighten up his line to him now, Pierre, get those 2 slips in play.
So Cyrus is saying, I'm no rabbit with the bat here, Pierre. You got to know what you bowl to me. Again, he's cutting backward points sweetly into the fence for 4. Cyrus is saying, I'm going to have some fun. You took some runs off of me. I'm going to take some off of you as well. 4 runs to him.
Yeah, short and wide, and it's vacant real estate out there. Most of the fielders are around the bat. So some free runs being offered up from Pierre of that man, Daryl Cyrus. From that man, Daryl Cyrus, rather.
So Pierre just losing his bearings here. Cyrus, 2 4s, plays that one in the approved manner. Back to Pierre. Pierre, 10.3 overs, 4 maidens, 26 runs, 6 wickets. Cyrus has rushed up to 11 from 9. Flighted delivery. Automatically he has changed his line and length and the way that he bowls to Cyrus. Cyrus just taking him off of his tracks, as we would say here. Need to make new roads. This one is a flighted delivery. Turn neatly out to mid-wicket, and these lower order batsmen making Pierre look rather easy to play here. And the top order batsmen struggled.
Yeah, quite interesting. You look at the way Cyrus has played him in this over so far, and you look, he has 6 wickets to his name.
Oh, I tell you, cricket is a game of glorious uncertainties. Tyson full face again, back to Pierre. That brings you over to an end. 109 for 8. Tyson is on 5. Cyrus is on 12 from 11. And really, Windward Islands Volcanoes trail by 181 runs. Another dismal performance here by the batters from the Windward Islands. And really has left much to be desired. So much could be said about the batting display of those batters from the Windward Islands. And it's really sad to see.
So Charles will get a 12th over in his spell.
Still looking to put something in that 4th column, Charles. 29 runs off his bowling. Again, this is trouble. This is have to be madness, innit? Madness, this is. The ball was struck down to mid-off, and Cyrus was looking for one. Tyson had no intentions of moving from where he was. And the throw was into the wicket keeper. Fortunately for him, he got back in time. And as you said, fortune favored the brave.
Yeah, it's quite fortunate. Curry actually slipped, so the throw came in off balance. Had he picked up and thrown balance to the keeper, would have seen the end of Cyrus.
This one is hiked, high and hard. Over mid-wicket, 1, 2, 3 bounce into the fence. So Cyrus is going to have a good time here this evening for sure. Yeah, 4 runs to him.
Cyrus giving some entertainment at the back end. Just getting on his knees and swinging that one into the leg side. Brian Charles, he hasn't had the best of times in this match so far, with ball in hand.
Charles again, flighted and he's sweeping sweetly. There's a man who's covering that area of the field, backward square. Gets another single. So, Cyrus 17 from 14.
And you look at the small innings from Cyrus so far, 17 off 14. It hasn't been reckless from him by any means. He's selected the deliveries that he wants to score off of. And he's playing with the spin as well. Those 2 fours that he hit off of pair, with the spin, the ball turning away from him, he played it through the offside. And that delivery that he hit for 4, played it with the spin again, Brian Charles, to the onside. So he hasn't been reckless, he's been quite selective. He's 17 off 14. Looks like a top order batter.
Well, I don't want to get into that. That's another thing to be discussed. As these 2 low order batsmen making things look rather easy here. One is on 5 from 5, one is on 17 from 14 deliveries. And as we see the scorecard here in the second innings, 36 and 17, the best score so far. Cyrus is on the second best score. Solazano got 36, Mohammed 103, Cooper 104 and 126 by Kevin Hodge. So 3 brilliant hundreds been scored here. And you could imagine that we are this game finishes on day number 3. That amount of runs been scored by batters. Interesting. Pierre, 6 wickets in the bag. The 4 columns look very good for him. I would like to know if this is his best figure so far in this regional tournament. 6 for 27. Seems to love bowling against the Windwards.
Picked up 7 wickets in the second innings in that game against combined campuses and colleges. So this will be his second best figure so far. 2 games in.
Wow. Doing well, this pair. Continues. This one is ball. Well, he's at 7. He's at 7. Quicker delivery. He went back to cut. And that's the end of a little... How we describe the innings from Carrier?
So it's been a bit of a cameo from him. But he's gone now, a quicker, straighter one, and that man, Carrier, he hasn't really left the stumps for most of his deliveries in this bowl, in this play so far. And another straight one accounting for another Windward Islands batter.
Exactly, another straight delivery put on the stumps, and Cyrus went back looking to cut. And that brings his little cameo to an end here. 17 from a few deliveries. Windward Islands have fallen into further trouble here, and really they are out in the deep. They're actually way down in the deep. 114 for 9. And really, I don't think anybody could get them up. This is like the Titanic, they would be lost.
Yeah, certainly a disappointing performance from Windward Islands.
Have they ever found the Titanic?
The arm ball there from Carrier. Can he go better than what he did in that game against combined campuses and colleges and get 8 wickets? He got 7 in that match against them. He has 7 here already. So can he wrap things up here for his team?
I can't remember if I have the information. Have they ever found the Titanic? The unsinkable ship? Well, Sonny Lambert's captain, your ship is sinking. It's sinking fast. Carrier 7 for 27. This is Jarius Martin going for a big swing. He's gotten 8. Want to catch a stick and he's gotten 8. Best figure so far for Carrier. Windward Islands have lost this game by an innings and 176 runs. Trinidad and Tobago are celebrating. Oh my God. Carrier, 8 wickets for 27 runs, 4 mins, and really Trinidad has really outplayed the Volcanoes here, and it is a disappointing finish here at Annisville playing field.
Yeah, indeed so. It's been a brilliant display of consistent bowling from Trinidad and Tobago, topped off by that man Carrier picking up 8 wickets. Windward Islands, a lot to ponder heading into the rest of this tournament, especially where batting is concerned?
Well, they have not batted in these 2 innings. They have not batted against Jamaica. And really, what would they do in the 3rd round? I'm not too sure. But this game is over and it's done and dusted. Trinidad and Tobago have won by an innings and 176 runs here at the lovely Annisville playing field. Unfortunately, tonight, you will not see the lights here. The game didn't last that long. And really, a very good game being played by Trinidad and Tobago. Very professional. The way they went about their duties, they executed properly. They had their plan and they executed properly. And Windward Islands fell victim to a very experienced and well marshaled, well orchestrated. The plans were nice and they fell like 10 pins here at Annisville playing field. 114 all out, 166 all out. And Trinidad and Tobago with a huge score of 456 here at Annisville. Well, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately we will not be back here tomorrow. The game has ended and Trinidad and Tobago has taken full points. It was a pleasure being here with you, and I want to say thanks on behalf of my fellow commentators, Osnat Kato, Stacey Adams, and to all those cricket lovers and to those who have joined us over the past 2.5 days. It was a pleasure being here, and it was a pleasure bringing broadcasts to you. We would see you probably on the next round. We don't have any more games in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but do have an enjoyable season, an enjoyable weekend. It was a pleasure. Good evening.